Welcome to Best in Faction.
The next generation.
A podcast where, as a time-honored tradition, we wait upon the eve of a data slate, and rather than actually talk about 40k, we talk about what we want 40k to be like in a week.
I'm not Tyler.
I am Nick.
And I'm Alex.
Yeah. Cool. We've done the bit. How was my Tyler impression?
It was excellent, dude. You sounded just like him, actually. Cool. Accents and all.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. So, all right, guys, today is the day of all days. We are going to be talking about what we want, what is going on with wonderful people.
The day of all days, dude.
Yeah,
as long as you finish the show with it's going to be a ball and a biscuit, then we're...
True. One of the days of all time. What are some more lines?
All right, lads. Welcome back to episode 60 of The Next Generation. This podcast is entitled, What Do We Want from the Data Slate? So today's date is January 18th of 2024, which means that just in another week or two now, Games Workshop will be dropping their long-awaited data slate, hopefully shaking up the meta a little bit. And, you know, I think as 40k players, we always kind of like are waiting on the eve of the data slate and are kind of more excited about the game that's to come than the game we're playing right now. So we figured, what a great show, especially with LVO coming around, just to talk about what we want the game to be like in a week's time once we kind of put this meta behind us. So, yeah, I think it'll be a fun show.
I don't mean to alarm you, Lucas, but sorry, I mean Alex, but it's actually the 19th.
I mean, sure, if you live in fantasy land and that's ahead of time, then yes.
Yeah. We don't have this here yet, though, unfortunately.
We live in the real world, Alex, over here. Sorry, Lucas, in America, you know? We should just stop doing this, although it's going to be a mind bender the entire show.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, I'm just going to keep getting it wrong.
Cool.
So, yeah, before we get started with talking about the data slate and what we want from each faction, let's just, talk about how we've been doing this last week. How you doing, Nick?
I have been doing well. For those who don't know, the Pacific Northwest has been hit with a recent batch of inclement weather. Snow and then freezing rain into ice and then back into more ice. So I have just been basically every single day waiting to hear if my work is canceled. And every single day at around 5:30 p.m., they let me know that I do not actually have to go to work tomorrow. But I can't go anywhere. So it's been a lot of, sitting around and kind of speculating, kind of like what you're saying. It's a lot of, okay, like we could play 40k, but like, what's like the game going to look like in a week, and kind of thinking about that.
Play that Votann versus World Eaters one you did in Man versus Matchup.
True.
That'd be fun.
So,
yeah. I did get my new computer set up, as I mentioned last week, and Lucas and I tested out TTS today. Worked out pretty well. No lag at all, which is super awesome. Makes playing Warhammer on there a little bit more manageable. But yeah,
have you got that camera set up going now?
No, not yet. No.
Aw.
Haven't figured that out quite yet.
Okay.
Gotta get that webcam, boy.
No, I sent him a link. You use your phone. That's what I'm using. There's
a
thing that you can link your phone to the thing. Yeah, so I've got like my phone hanging from a wire thing on a hook on my computer.
Oh,
yeah.
I know they sell like the like clip your phone to your car like AC or heater thing, and I'm
yeah.
It looks something like that.
Yeah, one of them would probably be good. I used a Pringles can back when I was doing Frontiers.
Nice.
With like holes cut into it, jammed in the side.
Yeah.
Certified student move.
I guess in that past week, Thursday night was when the snow was kind of rumored to be hitting, and since then we've been stuck like in the snow and ice phase where it's hard to go anywhere and hard to get stuff delivered to you. So I haven't really been able to go out and about to solve that whole.
Tyler and I went on our usual like 5-minute jaunt down to the convenience store, and it took us like 15 or 20 minutes because we were just shuffling slowly. And Tyler's not the most coordinated person, so boy had a couple of slips on the ice, which was pretty funny.
I'd believe it.
Oh my
Did he
God.
play as GSC where you got to have like the speed hands?
Yeah.
And like swarm bugs.
Yeah, the number of time he has punched a building all over my army is too many to count.
I can't fault that. I do that shit too.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Oops.
How have you been doing, Alex?
Yeah, good. It is the weather here. I'm just going to quickly explain because there might be some people listening to this and not having the like seeing me in Lucas's WTC shirt and Lucas in mine. But yeah, after last week's thing when Tyler said something about probably not having an episode because of stuff, I harassed Lucas and said we should do something as a joke. So I'm on here. So what's up?
You want to introduce
Yeah.
yourself a little bit for those who might not know who you
Yeah,
are?
for those that are like, so I'm Alex Taus. I have been on the network as part of Frontiers way back when, but then sort of life happened for a lot of us. So we've, we had to basically bail on the show, which is unfortunate. But I mean, it's still fun talking. So that's that. I am on the New Zealand WDC team as sort of the main claim to fame or something, or like notable 40k thing that I've done. Yeah, have also briefly been on the Swedish Home Nations team because I did a bunch of weird travel last year, so that was funny. But yeah, so yeah, I'm in New Zealand. Warhammer's very expensive here. It's also summer, so like I think it peaked at like 93 Fahrenheit today here. Yeah, fortunately we have aircon in the other room in the house, but my room not so much. So I had my computer off, so it is not being a heater. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's it like having a summer in January?
Yeah, I would say it's cool, but no, that's the opposite. I don't know, it's all right. I just like I'm used to it, right? The main thing is because like so much of the world's population is in the northern hemisphere, it's really annoying when people like stuff gets referred to as like coming this fall or coming this spring. I'm like, guys, say the month. There's like part of the world that's the opposite way, but anyway, yeah. Otherwise, it's just
We get it.
have
You guys are
a big
backwards.
break over. Hey, look, it means at least we've got like our school years because we have the big summer break, right? But that happens at like the start of the year, so the school year is the same as the calendar year, not some weird stuff that Nick needs to put up with. So yeah, that's nice at least.
That's
And
crazy,
then
dude.
I know, right? Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
For myself, I haven't been up to too much. I had this crazy hobby project that I did just impromptu last week, which I think is cool. So this is what I'm going to share. But a lot of my fellow teammates on Team USA are talking about the Death Killer Wartrike as a fun unit for Orks. So not only to share a cool hobby project, but also to segue us into what we want from the factions, because I'll be mentioning stuff like this when we talk about Orks. But yeah, I did convert up and paint a Death Killer Wartrike. The lighting's
Has he got a different axe and like more
I
spikes?
got rid of the stupid claw and I gave him some trophy poles.
Oh, he does have the claw. He's got like the scuffed Wolverine claw
Yeah,
thing.
it's the like shitty power claw with the grapple hook in it or something.
Yeah, that thing looks mega stupid.
Yeah.
As a whole, I am more of a fan of Orc have big axe than Orc have claw. I think axes look way cooler than claws. So anyway,
that's
I pulled that guy out of
how many bring it down points does he give? Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's not a vehicle.
Mounted, baby. He's part of the mounted.
Yeah, he's mounted. Because he can join war bikers, right?
Sure can. He sure doesn't though.
Oh, it's like Logan Grimnar joining.
Yeah, you give him the cyborg body, right? So he's another just like funny idiot running around with a 4-up feel no pain.
Yeah, he's a 90-point dude with 5-up invul and 4-up feel no pain, and advance 18 inches and do actions. Just hilarious. Pulled that guy out of a funny box of models that we bought from someone like a year and a half ago and fixed him up in like 3 days, which was pretty cool. So definitely like the fastest hobby project I've done in a long time. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, dude, you blasted through that.
Yeah,
it's cool. I'm excited to get him on the table. So
dude, it can be real satisfying doing like a speed hobby project. Like last year, I YOLO'd World Eaters somewhat because a buddy in a group chat was like, hey, what would be a cool alternative theme for World Eaters? And I'm like, oxidized copper. And then was like, hang on. and paint the 1975 list in a month. Like it goes from not existing to like assembled and boom.
That's crazy. I could never.
I was like,
I came
up with a real. Do I have one of them? No, they're all stored away in another room. But yeah, like spray copper, cover with nihilic oxide, dry brush a little bit, a couple of details, and blood for the blood god. So it's like done.
Slap it on, get it done.
Yeah. I spent a bunch of time on Angron though, because he's cool.
You have to. I've been thinking about getting Angron just as a hobby project, but yeah, he's super cool.
That'd be cool. I would play him.
The World Eaters. I know you talked about those Dino World Eaters, baby.
Yeah. I had this cool saga of trying these like cool hobby projects. I loved the idea of like a Sigmar like lizardman, but like you can like give them all like, you know, chain swords and bolt pistols and make them all Khornate worshippers. I think that'd be super cool.
I saw a picture somewhere where people put like lizards into like power armor, and they were salamanders, like literal, like they were painted like the salamanders chapter.
Oh, that's cool.
Lizards because I think it was in the Static Discord. So like,
well, I love the idea of the Croxagors being the 8-bound, and then like the ones with the big long jaws being the exalted 8-bound.
So, I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I don't understand Sigma models, but I'm going to trust it'll look cool.
Big upright 2-legged crocodile.
Yep.
Solid.
Big axe. There you go.
Yep. Chop in half. All right. So today's topic is what we want from the data slate. So just in terms of formatting, for the benefit of my co-hosts and everyone who's watching, what we're going to do here is just go through each of the factions one at a time. We'll go through all the Space Marine armies, Imperial armies, Chaos armies, and then Xenos armies. And we'll just each take a minute kind of in a round table fashion, but I'm sure it'll kind of devolve into just a free-for-all, which is totally fine. Talking about what we want to see from each of these factions in the data slate. So I'll start, I'll pass to Nick, and then we'll go to Alex, and then we'll kind of keep going around in a circle just so that the same person's not starting, a different person starts the round robin each time. And one thing I want us to do is, and you guys can keep me honest on this too, because I'm sure I'll forget, but let's say we have to make a change for every faction. I know it's probably not realistic, but let's just say that every faction is going to get a change, so that for factions that are right in the middle where we might not actually need a change, we can suggest something for them just to get some ideas, coming along. So
I have something for most, so let's go.
Sweet. I'm sure I'll be able to cobble something together. So the first faction of the game is Space Marines. So quick note for Space Marines, we'll talk about the generic codex Space Marines, and then we'll talk about Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, and a couple of those other non-codex compliant chapter types. And when we're talking about those, we're talking about, regardless of what detachment you play, those units, like Deathwing Knights are Dark Angels, and Death Company and Sanguinary God are Blood Angels. So in terms of normal Space Marines, I think they're in a fairly good spot. I think there's a couple things internally that are really unbalanced with the faction. So I would just honestly like to see points changes for Space Marines. There's a couple of data sheets that are stupid. Having played them for a month or two now, Inceptors and Scouts are ridiculous. Scouts being 55 points for 10 wounds, Scout, Infiltrate, and Return to the Shadows every turn is stupid as hell. Like, that unit could easily go up 25
and
points
assault guns.
And assault guns. It could go up to 80 points for 5 guys, and I think Space Marine players would still take at least one squad. Like, that unit is dumb. So Scouts would be the first thing I would want to raise, and then Inceptors would be the other thing. I don't think it's kind of a bummer because I don't think the Bolter ones are that OP, but the Plasma guys are just so efficient. And a big thing is, like, every single detachment makes them better because their data sheet ability is just so damn good.
Dude, yeah, they can get reroll wounds in the first company detachment once a game.
Value, dude. I had to take a second to think about why that didn't work. But like, Firestorm gives them +1 to wound and +1 strength. That's nuts. Vanguard gives them
sometimes
back in reserve
+2
every turn. That's absolutely busted. Ironstorm gives them a free reroll, so like they're less oath dependent. That's worse than the other two, but like it it matters.
Well, also it means they could Mercy his weakness if, like, yeah.
Exactly.
Does that make the bolter ones funny? Because do they have sustain 2? So you can get crit 5 sustain 2 if there's something
the critical 5s only works on vehicles.
Okay, so
it gives you sustained, but then criticals on vehicles.
I think the one detachment where the bolt ones are really good is Stormlance. Is that what it is? Or Storm Spear, whatever that is. Yeah.
Stormlance,
the Space Wolf one.
Yep.
The mounted one.
Yeah.
Oh, -1 to
there's
hit
like
wounds?
there's like a assault
White
gun strat, yeah.
You can give the plasma inceptors sustained, because there's a strat that says give your shooting weapons assault, and if they already have assault, they give them sustained 1. So you can give your plasma sustained 1, which is pretty good.
Yeah. I remember Kobe going off about how the bolters are really good, and now he's like starting to run like the plasmas, and that's why. Yeah.
If they didn't, here's my point. If Inceptors in general didn't have any buffs from detachments or stratagems, they would still be an insane data sheet. So like,
Deep Strike 3 is a really good ability.
They could probably go up 10 points for a squad of 3, frankly. But I think
they can
honestly,
also rapid ingress at 3, can't they?
They sure can.
The fact that most detachments that have that, the Deep Strike 3 away, it's like a detachment specific thing that costs CP. So it's like 1 unit a turn. And now all of a sudden you can use it on like a unit. And like what you're saying, you could rapid ingress at 3 away.
And it's just most armies, it's just like you don't 3-inch screen. So it's just they get to go where they want and shoot. And just you accept that.
Yep.
So the fact that we're seeing like multiple squads in like most Codex Space Marine lists, I agree with Lucas. That means that probably they should get hit in points a little bit.
Yeah, it's not just like 2 or 3 squads of 3. It's like 6, 6, and 3 type of stuff.
Yeah,
they're just 2.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I agree with you too. Sorry to kind of hijack. That's kind of my big point about the internal balance of Space Marines. It's just it feels like there's so much stuff they have, and we only see like 15% of it. Like some detachments unlock more of that, which is pretty cool. But like, yeah, there's so many units that just people don't talk about ever. And I mean, that's just going to happen when you have a massive book. But it would be interesting to see some love for some of the less played units.
In particular, like melee units. Space Marine melee
veterans.
Terrible, yeah. Other than like aggressors and then Codex specific units like Sword Bros and Black Templar characters, Thunderwolf Cavalry, Death Company, those are all really good units. But like Assault Terminators, Vanguard veterans with jump packs, Blade Guard veterans, like those all units could all come down 10 to 15%. That might put them into the realm of viability.
Blade Guard can sort of work with Ajax, right? Or is that a bit cute?
It's cute. It's cool, good, but it's mega expensive.
It is expensive, yeah.
It's like you're paying a ton of points when you could just run 6/6/3 Plasceptors instead.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, I definitely feel like a couple reduce the cost on some melee units, send a couple of the spammed choices up a little bit in points, and I think Marines are in a very good spot overall. I don't think the faction is nearly as insane as people make it out to be.
The one thing that needs to be changed, the fact that this hasn't been caught on the FAQ, is the whole Vanguard like making charges fail. Like,
that
you can create the pocket and then they're not allowed to redeclare the charge because technically they're still within range, but like you can't end within an inch of the enemy unit you charged. That's stupid.
So the idea
that needed to be FAQ'd.
You have like a unit sitting in 2 units next to each other, right? One's in front, one's sort of back, making like a circular shape. Enemy declares a charge on the unit at the front. They use the strategy and move back. And turning a 7-inch charge to like a 9-inch charge or something, which is fine. So still declarable, except now to reach that unit, you need to move through another unit, right?
Which is physically impossible. Your models physically can't end an engagement range.
Yeah.
But according to like the whole, like, what is it, designer's commentary,
the GW flowchart thing,
when you're allowed to redeclare, it's like if they'd moved outside of 12, you'd be allowed to redeclare. But people have been talking about this as like a strategy, and it's just one of those things where it's like GW has patched all of these, like way back in the day when the AdMech dogs were the first whole runaway unit introduced, and it would like make charges fail, and you couldn't redeclare. And then they introduced like the redeclare rule. So I think it's cool if you decided to go from like a 7-inch charge to a 12-inch charge. Cool. But the whole like I can create this donut hole and now you like can't move is pretty. Like I've physically moved behind my own models, and now you physically can't end an engagement range, but you're still legally allowed to charge me.
Yeah.
But, like, you're not, you know.
Or similarly, right? You could like if they declared 2 targets, it's like that and something else, and then suddenly, okay, whoop, I'm going to move away. So you can't like if a Chaos Knight tried to charge them and another unit because they're like 4 inches apart, and it's like, cool, no, I'm 7. You can't make this. Unlucky.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's already silly enough that they
would...
can deliberately stay at 11.5 and make you have to go for the 11. But like, at least that's better than I literally can't make this. So you've just invalidated my charge. That's kind of sad.
Yeah,
I think it still at least gives you a chance.
They might get to redeclare.
It's something that should have been got on the FAQ, and I hope that they catch it in the data slate.
Yep.
Yeah. It could also be interesting to like some of the rubbish detachments. I don't know how you save the like Imperial Fists one, the siege, like we were about standing still and doing stuff one. That one might just be unlucky, but like the first company one, you could just make that like cool. You get old oaths against your oath target every turn, or something, which would make maybe things a bit interesting or something.
Yeah.
Plus, I'd like to see a precedent of like, hey, we mucked up with this detachment. Let's try and do this, that, or the other.
Or what about like some kind of buff specifically for the units that you're trying to take in that detachment? Well, they've kind of shied away from that a little bit, but like, what if all veteran or Terminator units got like +1 OC or +1 attack, or that in that detachment or something like that?
+1 OC could be cool. Or they become like battle line or something.
That'd be cool.
That might not help, right? Because that just might mean you can take more bad things. But yeah.
Yeah. I think some kind of stat buff. They've like I said, they try to shy away from that in 10th edition, so I really don't think they'll do that, but it'd be cool if they did.
Yeah.
I don't see why detachments shouldn't buff stats. All right, anyone got anything else for Space Marines?
No, that's my big stuff.
Let's talk about a couple of the successors. Fuck you, Alex. Let's go first to Blood Angels. Anyone played against or played as Blood Angels very much? Because I have not played against them in this edition.
I definitely have played against them. I can't think too much what would... fix the one thing that like should done is fix the silly Baal Predator. So the Baal Predator has a rule where it says it can advance and still shoot it, and its top fire weapon gains the assault keyword but can only target infantry units, which means if it's in the Firestorm detachment where you have assault anyway, it advances and it now can't shoot its gun as well because the restriction would still be in there. That would be a fix.
You should definitely fix that.
Huh?
They should definitely fix that.
Yeah. I don't know. I hear people saying like just have like Sangard are maybe too expensive or whatever, so just give them a bit of love because people are playing Death Company but not Sangard. So
yeah, I feel like they could probably come down a little bit. Or get like something else to. I mean, the thing is, it's like it's hard to differentiate between Death Company and Sanguinary Guard when they're the same unit, but one of them is a slightly better armor save and maybe slightly more AP. Like at the end of the day, they're just a Marine with a jump pack. So I'd love to find some other way to differentiate them in terms of like rules on the data sheet. I think that'd be cool.
It could be interesting if Blood Angels had something, right, like Sanguinary Guard with an attached character, because their thing used to be Heroic Interventions, right? Like, we don't have Tyler on to talk about that. But, if you could have something like, cool, this unit can Heroic, even if there wasn't a unit that charged within 6 or something, if there's, like, Sangard with a character or something like that.
Yep.
Even that as a general change to Heroic Intervention would be awesome, because, like, the old edition of like, hey, I'm standing near here. If you walk close, I'm going to come like run over and clobber you. I can get why they removed it, but it could be interesting for it to be useful. Like the other day, I actually got to Heroic Intervene with something and it'd be important. I was like, whoa, what? This is cool. I got to use the stratagem because it's just
it's a 6 strat. It's a 6 strat when you try to line it up and go through a lot of thought of how to set it up.
That and when I played Oh, and this one, it wasn't that. It was I had Angron behind some Exalted at the edge of a ruin. A Maliceptor had to charge to make way for Old One Eye, but rolled an 11, so it had to go around the ruin and touch me rather than like fight through the wall.
No.
So it's like, oh, okay. Angron will just like step 2 inches forward and clobber the dude.
Hilarious.
Yeah, he didn't. He left them on 1, so I had to charge with the Juggerlord to like hit him with the horn. Then Angron charged. But yeah, like that. The other thing I saw was it was at WTC. I was playing against Innis, and he's like rapid ingress into heroic threat with his Deathwing Terminators. Like the fact that you need to do that much stuff to try and use the stratagem is a bit.
Yeah, it's like a
It'd be
3
cool
CP
if it had-
combo.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
right.
that on the
Hearthguard. You've got
What,
me
the
with that
heroic
so many
and
times.
Yep.
Oh,
And then
dude,
you
and you can get your
slaughter
bonus
you and you're
23
like, whoops.
CP as well. Like if you go second, you kill something bottom of 3, they flip over. No, do you get it your command phase or top battle round?
You get it your command phase.
Oh, it's not quite as free.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be awesome though
But
if you went second, like clear like one of the chaff screening units, bottom of battle round.
Bottom 1. Yep.
Yeah, bottom 1. Then top of battle round comes out. It's like, all right, I got 3 CP and I'm allowed to come in from reserve.
Yep. I've done that quite a bit.
Sick shit.
Yeah. Oh, you've
So,
just
but
not
yeah.
spent the CP.
It sounds like Blood Angels are in a decent spot. They, I've seen them play to a lot of detachments. It'd just be cool to see some, like a fix to the Ball Predator, like you said, Alex, and then maybe some Bloodless Sanguinary Guard. But I think they're in a decent spot.
Yeah.
What about Dark Age? Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, I think their iconic thing is Death Company and Sanguinary Guard, and the only complaint I hear is that they're too expensive. So I literally haven't played against Blood Angels like at all. That's how
Blood Angels are neat, like, and because they've got the Libby Dread, which is quite cool. It's like a different way to teleport things. It's also like a liability if you're playing against multiple Night Spinners because it's like an 8 wound thing that is just there. But yeah, so like that's quite cool. And Death Company are like a decent enough melee unit. I was looking at it when I was like, because I'd played World Eaters, so hitty things and rhinos, and then like had played against CSM, and it's like Marines have rhinos, but they've got like the whole Tacticus, Primaris, whatever the keywords are these days thing that you can't put the good hitty units in the good box.
Packs can't go on the rhinos either.
Yeah, you got to take like the what is it, the pickup truck impulsor, like expensive worse transport to take less of the good melee units like Sword Bros rather than But yeah, so Blood Angels have stuff. It's just Templars probably do it better all the time. The Sanguinor's funny too.
He is funny. That is an actual like faction defining model potentially. All right, boys. How about Dark Angels?
I mean, they're about to get a whole new codex. Yeah. So whatever they get in that's going to supersede. I guess what would we like to see from the codex? We've seen some of the rules. We've seen some of the like battle report stuff. Yeah.
I heard something bad was happening to Telmas. Is they losing Lonop or like the Lonop near a buddy thing?
Who?
I thought Talon Masters got legended.
Or maybe I don't know.
So here's what I want to see. I want the bike detachment to be good. I'm tired of people hijacking the White Scars detachment. I mean, the list they build there are cool. Don't get me wrong, but I want bikes to be good. Like, let Space Marines on bikes be a thing, even if it's dog shit Dark Angels, which I absolutely hate. They're my least favorite chapter. I just want Space Marines on bikes to be a thing. Come on.
The problem is if Talon Masters are gone, like those kits are kind of ancient. Like unless they're coming out with new Ravenwing kits.
Dude, you're gonna get the big like the Primaris speeders, like those are Talon Masters now.
No, it looks like Ravenwing Talon Master is still a thing for now.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, well, wait, are you talking about in the app right now or in the new?
Yes, in the app right now.
Well, yeah, it is right now. But when the book comes out, there's people in the chat right now saying too that they're allegedly gone. So who knows? If they are gone, bit of a bar. I'd love to see a mixed arms. Like I do love the thing I love about Dark Angels is they kind of like Black Templars. They're like my favorite part about Marines, which is the Gothic Space Knight like aesthetic, you know. But every time Dark Angels end up being good, it's like 30 big beefy idiots wandering around.
Yeah, or a bunch of like 9 attack bikes.
Yeah, you know, like I mean, at least for the last few years, whenever they've been good, it's just been spam Deathwing Terminators, you know, and that's pretty boring. Maybe with like some Desolators, like that was pretty like the whole thing in the lore, is they're supposed to be like Ravenwing and Deathwing working in tandem. That would be a sick detachment if they managed.
They used to have like the whole Ravenwing bikes could call down the Deathwing Terminators and teleport close and stuff like that. That's sort of that'd be awesome.
It'd be cool, and I think too, like, because any army that's just spamming like the same unit 3 times and that's the army, that's boring, So I'd love to see a detachment that makes both those good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, dude. I was hitting with the funny eyebrows.
I rest my case.
Yeah, I heard somewhere people talking about the best battle line unit, and it's like they forgot Chaos Knights because reasonable, but yeah, I was talking about the immortals doing the disappear to thing on objective combo.
You mean where they made themselves disappear? GW made them disappear? Is that what you're saying?
Oh,
I mean, yeah, sure.
It wasn't intended. It wasn't intended.
Phase out.
We'll get to yeah. I don't know. So that's kind of like the Dark Angels like detachment previously was pretty cool. Like the idea of when you're battle shocked, you get stronger. But like
I really like that as a mechanic. I think that's
there's like
that interaction with the old admech mechanic. The old admech mechanic would easy take mortal wounds or be battle shocked, and we're like, yes, I would take a 4-up trade offer.
Like I'm sure it leads to very interesting games with like Tyranids and Chaos Knights, but like that doesn't come up against a lot of armies. Not a lot of armies are going to be.
The funniest Dark Angels interaction I remember was the Interrogator Chaplain versus Custodes matchup. Because the Interrogator Chaplain, you always counted as below half strength. So you have like 10 Custodes Wardens run in and pop Avenge the Fallen.
Yeah.
Like, cool.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Pay to lose, dude.
So you like run him away.
We're below half strength. Fuck you.
So.
Yeah.
That is so hilarious.
I think they have a good, like what you're saying, good opportunity to make like a sick bike detachment and make like melee good, because that's kind of been Dark Angel's whole thing is melee knights and bikes, and neither of those are really that good right now. I guess outside of the Sword Bros and Templars, which we'll get to.
Yeah, like Ravenwing Deathwing synergy would be really cool though.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Sweet. Moving us along to Space Wolves. So Space Wolves and the Stormlance detachment, I feel like are pretty sick. The Champions of Rust detachment, yikes. But in terms of the actual data sheets that are in Space Wolves, I feel like they've got a lot of stuff there. Depending on what terrain you're playing on.
They have a lot of data sheets. It's just like all the random like wolf characters. It's like why do they need?
They had to rename every single fucking Space Marine character.
It's like Templars with the
Marshals and Castellans.
Lieutenant. That's also okay. Yeah.
And it took forever for Space Wolves to get actual apothecaries, right? They had the weird chaplain of pseudo apothecary, rune priests.
No, the wolf priest.
No, wolf priest. Rune priests are the not psychers.
Rune priest is the librarians.
Apothecaries, not chaplains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Space Wolf. Okay. I'm a big fan that Space Wolves have found a home in Storm's Lance Spear. I forget the name of it. God dang it.
Stormlance.
There we go. Cool. I'm glad they found a home in Stormlance. It does feel weird that they've kind of hijacked the White Scars detachment. But it's cool. I like that the army is like really fast, but doesn't hit incredibly hard. Like AP is its issue. But it's like a unique kind of pressure army in that it just like it overwhelms you. It's not all infantry. Like mounted are finally kind of good. I know for a while, I guess like a few episodes ago, that was kind of a terror list up here. And we were practicing it against it a bunch, and we kind of learned like, yeah, it's really good, but there's strengths and weaknesses to it. I don't know. I know we were calling for like maybe Thunderwolf Cavalry should go 5 points a model. I don't know if I believe that anymore.
I don't think so.
I think that
were you
like
calling for them to go up or down?
We wanted them to go up like 5 points at first when we were getting ran over. But like,
yeah, Colby bad touched us on repeat, but
yeah,
you kind of learn. The thing is, the detachment
you guys
and
need
the
like
list is
walls.
A, yes, it hates walls, and B, it also like it struggles a little bit with certain types of offense. and it really wants to get shot at because of blood surge and -1 to hit and wound, but it really hates being punched. That's the thing is once you like get those wolves in melee, if you just put enough attacks into them, like I don't know how they would ever hope to win against world leaders or something like that. The world leaders just go in and like the master of executions kills an entire squad of space wolves, you know, and then they charge in to that unit, and then he kills another entire squad of space wolves. I mean, maybe not because he's damage 3 at that point, but like, yikes.
Even into the other like melee marines, you walk in and they just pop AOC, and all of a sudden you're like, you're saving on 4s or 3s if they have like a 2-up save. Like I played Space
melee
Wolves into
this edition's rough.
Yeah, I played Space Wolves into Templars, and I was like, I'm gonna run this guy over with like my 18 dogs, and I charged like the big squad with Helbrecht, and he popped AOC, and I killed like 2 of them, and I'm like, okay.
And then that unit is like, let me show you how it's done.
Yeah, and then the unit one-shots you. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They're fast. I think that's cool. I would love to see though, like kind of going back to the whole you were saying Champions of Rust attachment being terrible. Do you have any idea like what you would like to see change? Like, do you have any ideas for how to make that attachment good?
I think they need stronger base effects. I like the idea of like the wolf completes a saga and he like levels up. I don't know if they still do this in 10th, but I know in 9th edition, like the bearer got an effect, and then once he completed the saga, like all the dudes around him saw that something cool happened. They're like, yo, let's go, let's follow the wolf boy. I think that's pretty cool. But just a stronger base effect would mean it would, you know, there would be a reason to take those enhancements to begin with. And like, I don't even know what their stratagems are, but making them better. I like that Space Wolves, their whole thing in 9th edition was that they heroic intervened like motherfuckers. I think that'd be cool if there was a more heroic intervention emphasis or like ability to get into combat in unconventional ways. I kind of like that they have blood surge on a lot of different units. In terms of Thunderwolf Cavalry, if there was just like a stratagem for that for anybody, that'd be pretty cool. Just something to make them feel more unique.
I like the idea too
feeling
of
that
like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I get the feeling that like with the Dataslate, we would all be like, make heroic intervention less bad, because it's a kind of cool mechanic that's not so relevant right now. Oh yeah, maybe more relevant rather than less bad. But
the thing is, like, yeah, I think it needs to stay at 2 CP because, like, imagine it at 1 CP. I think that'd be a little busted. But maybe you need to like keep it at 2 and change the effect. I don't know.
Yeah. Unsure.
All right, boys, we're moving on.
Yeah.
There are 2. Anything else you want to mention, Nick?
Nah, we're good.
Let's quickly touch on Deathwatch for like 2 seconds, and then we'll talk about Grey Knights. Deathwatch. Yeah. Revert the September Dataslate points. I like that you can't load Kraken bolter rounds into your frag cannons. No, let the ammunition stuff lie.
That's what I say. I agree.
Frag cannons.
Well, I'm putting different ammunition to my plasma or melter weapons.
Yeah, like that's dumb. But so keep that change, but revert all the points that completely gutted the faction. You don't need to double hit them like that.
Something that I thought could be cool because I think it was after I played you, Lucas. I was like, let's have a look around at different marine things and just see what's around. And I was seeing if when you put bikes into the kill teams, but they don't gain any of the keywords, it could be interesting if they you have a bike in your old style kill team and you gain the mounted keyword. So then you could run them in Stormlance or whatever and get some
the Stormlance benefits. That'd be cool.
Right, that could be interesting. I don't know if it'd happen, but it could be interesting. I think another weird interaction that I think the Corvus Black Star needs the rider of if you put Centurion or Terminator models in this, they take up extra slots, because I don't think it has that at the moment.
What's that?
I think the Corvus Black Star you can load up with a bunch of Centurions or whatever, because it doesn't have the big things to take up. Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, just dumb shit like that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Cool. Grey Knights. I love where Grey Knights are. I think they're sick.
Wait. We're missing
what?
Templars. Right?
Yeah, we'll go to them after. Sorry, I forgot to mention them.
Okay.
The Grey Knights. I think Grey Knights are great. I like what they did, moving them from 9th to 10th to make them feel more elite. Having them be like the speedy dudes where everyone has a 2-up armor, I think is super sick. I would love
Purifier squads put out so many shots
They
because
really
they
do.
have their flamer and a stormbolter.
Yeah, if you're infantry, watch out. Those dudes can shoot pretty hard. But I just love what the faction does. It's also, I like the armies in 10th edition that like feel really unique to play against. We were just talking about Space Wolves. The Thunderwolf cavalry spam list is definitely one of those where you need to know all of its tricks and how to counter them to like have a hope. And Grey Knights are definitely that way too. Where like if you don't know what they're gonna pull on you, then you're gonna get bamboozled by it. Like I love those kind of armies. I think they're really cool.
Yeah. I played against I played against it and considered playing it, and they have like a big issue with like armor, right? Like they don't have enough variety in their like damage profiles, which is probably difficult as like a Dataslate fix. That's probably like needs a book to fix. But like so because I feel like the Dread Knights and stuff are maybe almost there. Obviously they need to be careful because like you give them a bit of a points decrease and suddenly you go back to like Codex Dread Knight, which people will be upset about. But yeah,
I'd
I don't
much
know
rather
how.
be Codex Terminator than Codex Dread Knight for sure.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if like Strike Squad's got a bit of. You see like 1 or 2, right? But like, sorry, yeah, like because it is Codex Terminator. It'd be a bit more interesting if it was like a bit of variety, maybe. Yeah.
I think so.
Like,
I think you could probably bring down the Dread Knights a little bit, like just enough that they can actually have some long range fire support without it being like spammable. And that's obviously a fine line to tread, but I think they're smart enough to be able to figure out where that point is. I don't even know how expensive they are right now, frankly, but obviously too expensive.
Yeah, they're on the fringe, right? Like there's some lists that are running them and stuff like that, and they're fine. It's just it feels weird to. I don't know how you balance late fix them unless it's like a Death Guard type thing where they get like some minor army rule of, I don't know, like maybe some of their psi weapons when they come in from like teleport or something get a bonus AP or something weird like that, right? Or like a bit of strength, or they could have some, like they used to have the psychic power for like someone psychically tags a thing and then your psi weapons get a +1 to wound or whatnot or bonus damage. Like just
that'd be cool.
From my understanding, like some things like that are what could help it out a bit, because if there's like, hey, there's big stuff and we're going to vibe check you, and they're like, we have Terminators, but they
don't hit
okay.
high.
Yeah, they hit sort of okay and like do cute teleport around and bring models back things, which is cool, but yeah. I think that's what the faction sort of struggles with, right?
Yep. Anything to add on Grey Knights, Nick?
No, I know that when they got their points drops in the September data slate, people seemed like really happy with where they were at. If like all they need is like a little more points drops, I think that'd be good. But that's definitely an army that I would caution like giving another round of huge points drops for, because I know that they're hard to play. They're like fringe being played, but they're strong right now.
I mean, like Jack took them pre-buff to WTC, right? Like they have. Yeah, you don't want to go crazy with it.
Their army rules are very, very good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, there was something like, it was their free stratagem thing rubbish or something, or like something like a battle tactic thing. Some of that.
Yeah, not only is it only once per game, but they also changed all of their battle tactics to something else. So now you can only do like one strat for free. I forgot which one it is, but it's a very mediocre one.
Yeah, that could be worth doing.
They could either change their stuff back to being battle tactics if it's still once per game, or you keep them only being able to use the one, but make it every battle round like every other thing.
I have another idea. If it's like a unique in that it's a once per game, do a thing for free. What if you make it as this thing you can make a non-battle tactic stratagem free?
That'd be cool.
Because then you can have things that are not battle tactics, which is normally a good thing, because that means you can't get vectored if you don't have a thing to make it free. That could be interesting. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Templars.
Sure, and then we could talk about not power armor for once.
Yeah.
Black Templars. I think they're in a fine spot, honestly. If you fix
No
scouts
bias.
and inceptors, I think they're totally reasonable. Crusaders
Since
are not everything people's made them out to be. They're mostly just OC2 dudes. Sword Brethren hit.
Oh, the
at the end of the day,
regular
they're
base Crusaders.
yeah, that they are
Those are a
a.
little silly. The fact that they can take like
I
3 melter
I
weapons
scammed
and...
you with them, Alex. That
No,
was the most irregular thing I've ever seen.
I'm not even meaning that. It just is slightly silly that like 5 dudes for 65 points have 3 melter weapons and 2 power fists, or 1.
One.
Okay, yeah, like maybe only have 1 heavy or special weapon at 5, or something.
It's kind of the scout thing again, where it's just like really good OC2 bodies that maybe are a little bit too cheap.
Yeah, you could give the unit like a 5-point tap, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I think they're fine.
I don't think that's what's smashing though, right? Like the big thing is the Helbrecht 10 sword bros land raider, right? That like
you could maybe look at the sweep and sword bro +1 damage interaction. Like, so
they could give a +1 damage to the strike profile.
Yeah, and so to explain, sword bros pick at the start of the fight phase either +1 attack or +1 damage for weapons in that unit, right? And then you attach Helbrecht and or the Emperor's Champion to units of them who have sweep profiles. So it's like, here's a dozen attacks that go from damage 1 to damage 2.
Yeah, it leads to a bunch of unintuitive interactions where it's almost always better to sweep and do hard targets than it is to stab, which makes no sense.
Well, especially with Helbrecht, right, who keeps the AP on his sweep and has like lethal 5s, because if you take a 10 brick with him in the apothecary or whatever.
The lieutenant, yeah.
Or that one. The apothecary is the Gravis one. Yeah.
Their goofy name.
I don't know how I feel about that big brick. On the one hand, it is super powerful, but on the other hand, it's like a unit of Space Marines, and they have some velocity when they come out of the Land Raider, but after that, they're just dudes that move 6 inches a turn.
Yeah,
can only.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I personally feel like if you want to fix a feels bad, fix the way that +1 damage works with the sweep. And then, frankly, I feel like that Sword Brethren are a completely fine unit. They're just
Dude, have you hit like a Yinkan with the sweep? Because it's a +1 damage. Wouldn't you like?
That doesn't work.
No.
Because it adds 1 to the damage characteristic of the weapon. So anything that adds to the damage characteristic of a weapon goes in and basically edits the characteristic like on the datasheet, and then it will get halved. That's not how Melta works though, because Melta is a modifier.
What about the Master of Executions? Because I know I've only heard it from other World Eaters people, but say that like you roll a 3 on your D3, you run into the Incarn, your 5 damage turns to 4 because it's like 2 minus 1, 2 divided by 2 to 1 plus 3. But anyway, we're in the weeds. I feel like if they're deemed too strong, give like maybe a 5-point tap to some of the things, like Sword Brethren, like 5 or something, and like Crusaders 5 points or something, maybe. They probably
I don't even know Sword Bros.
Yeah,
I think
I was saying maybe
a little more expensive.
Take all of this. By the way, take all of this in the context of you're already sending up scouts like 20 points for a squad of 5 and inceptors 10 points for a squad of 3. Like that's already hiking up most Templar lists between 50 to 100 points. You know.
True.
One other.
I don't think you should be hitting the Sword Brethren because, like we were just saying, it's cool to have like a good melee unit. And what makes them really good is like Helbrecht.
That's why I was thinking like
maybe Helbrecht around,
right? And the other one is maybe they shouldn't have access to like Black Templars and regular versions of the things. Like you could, so they actually have. It's nice that they actually have like war gear points to play with. Of like, oh, I need 5 more points. I'm going to take the multi-melter off my Impulsor and my Lancer if you've got one or whatever, right? But that seems slightly odd.
Yeah, it's almost like they shouldn't have got rid of shouldn't have gotten rid of modular warrior costs.
I get that, right? Which is why I am hesitant to actually complain about this, because it's nice to have something where you can choose war gear cost. It's just,
yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Cool. We're done talking about power armor. Thank God. Until we get to chaos.
What's next? World Eaters? CSM?
We're gonna move on to the other Imperium armies because we're not done talking about the lame factions. Speaking of lame factions, Adeptus Custodes. Alex, you're a Custodes player. Tell us about the worst army in the game.
Okay, so I'm kind of waiting for the book, because like I liked when there's sort of combined arm Custodes things and bikes and stuff like that. The Shield Captain on bikes ability is so cool. It's like a move again, but it's in the end of the fight phase, which like it could be really cool. It's once per game. Like it's so close, but then bikes are like sad paying for sins of past editions. But yeah, so there's a few things that like I would like to see adjusted sort of data sheet level, which is wait for the book. But like if they get, I think the squad size thing is fine because it was a bit silly having the 10 bricks and it made the like flag extra efficient and stuff like that. It'd be cool if you could still take like the solo Alaris like you used to be able to, but that doesn't make sense in GW's like squad size logic, and other things like that. Yeah, bikes are in a bad spot. The Dreads movement is really sad of move 6 when they used to be 9. That's painful. Yes. That would be nice to go back, but that's again like probably a codex type thing.
How do you feel about, in terms of a Dataslate thing, just a suggestion, because I know a lot of people have mentioned this, how do you feel about the devastating wounds becoming not mortals? I feel like if they made that one tweak, that might be enough to, because Custodes hate devastating wounds, and giving them a 4-up against that might seriously propel them into like a tough, durable infantry army once again, which is kind of like where a lot of people like them. How do you feel about that?
It's probably a good change. I'm not super excited about it because like I like having variety. Like just like here's a bunch of just Custodes is not interesting. Having like some dudes on foot running around being like the units of can they have units of they can't have units of 3 now. I would like units of 3 back again as well. It doesn't make sense in again their logic of like however many things are in kits, but just like 3 dudes running around being tough, going like I'm going over there and I can probably hold this down, was cool. Since I'm again remembering like weird niche vehicle things, the twin underslung guns on the Caladius tanks don't actually have the twin link keyword, despite having twin in the name. I would like that fixed.
Is this like a bolter or something?
Yeah, it's a twin Lestrum heavy bolter or something, I think, and it's got sustained hits, but not twin linked, and also not damage too. I believe.
Weird.
Yeah, because back like in the last edition, Lestrum things were like there was Lestrum storm bolters, Lestrum heavy bolters. Those were like the normal thing, but with +1 strength and AP. But then when heavy bolters got bumped to damage 2 last edition, the Custodes ones didn't get affected and other things. Anyway, that's like way deep diving into niche stuff that I'm mildly upset about, but is most of the time not important. The as it is, Caladius tanks are really quite good, so I can't complain too much. Palace tanks are sad though. I like those things.
Yeah, those guys are cool. I know you played Custodes a little bit over the summer, Nick. How do you feel about where they are and what they could do to get back to the glory days?
I mean, I love the change of knocking them down from the 10-man bricks. Like that list was silly. Like it didn't really feel very Custodes. I've played against Custodes a few times since that change, and it's been a lot more interesting to see like a few 3 and 6 man and 5 man squads across the table from me running around rather than just like 3 big bricks.
You can't take 3 though, right? Or you could do it with Alaris, but yeah.
Venatari as well, I think.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, which are actually pretty good right now.
Yeah, they're cool. The points seem painful, but I haven't actually.
That's just kind of Custodes and general high points. Like
it's also kind of a bummer. It feels like one of the strengths is you have a tough unit with a dope attached character, and the fact that there's no character to attach to Venatari kind of sucks. Because it seems like it's a great unit on its own, but it's like it's just missing the character to really bump.
Could be neat to attach like a bike captain to it.
That would be
weird,
sick.
but cool.
That'd be cool.
It'd be also interesting because I'm pretty sure the bikes don't have the deep strike keyword anymore. When because they've gained and lost it over various editions. If they had that again, it could be cool. Because then you have Bike Captain and Venatari, and you're like, yo, we're here. And that'd be awesome because they could drop in and then they could move.
I would love to see most is honestly because I know that the Custodes Codex is coming sometimes this spring, so they might not get that much love in the data slate. I think I agree with your change. I've been saying that since the nerf, that the Custodes ability should work on on devastating wounds. The fact that it only works on mortal wounds when there's I don't know, 5 instances of that in the game. All right, cool. I get a 4 Finlip pin against grenades. Sounds good. Meanwhile,
and tank
10 immortals just deleted me. Not so much anymore, but 2 weeks ago, yeah. And the thing is, you're paying a premium for a 2-up, 4-up, right? And when someone can just get around that with the amount of devastating wounds interactions there are in the game. If you want to keep Custodes high, give them a Finlip pin against dev wounds. What I would love, because what sucks is there's all these really cool units like Venatari are pretty good right now. Sagittarum were pretty good in the past. I hate that we're bouncing this book around these Forge World units, these units that are locked behind this kind of weird niche paywall. So if we're wish listing stuff for Custodes, what I would love is to see those kits released in plastic when the book comes out in the spring.
That would be sick.
The fact that we're the army
and
doesn't
the
have
double pistol Sisters of Silence, the Forge World ones of them.
Yeah. So I think that would be cool. So finally now we can give Custodes players some options, because when guard and wardens aren't good, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that are I don't want to shell out a bunch of money for resin Venatari. So although
that's so Ninja asks, when to orc? So lads, I think I'm gonna speed us up a little bit.
Good.
Reasonable.
How do you say? We're about an hour in and we're not done with Imperium. Okay, let's hammer out Adeptus Mechanicus real quick.
Can their faction ability actually be a faction ability, please? It is stupid that any.
Is it the advance and shoot / AOC in your deployment zone thing?
Yep, which doesn't actually apply to their whole army. The army rule doesn't apply to.
Make that apply to cult mech units like robots and stuff.
Yeah, because that just shouldn't be a question. I don't think they're as terrible as commonly perceived. It's a problem that they're a horde army that's expensive. I am never gonna have AdMech.
They have a lot of stuff, but all of the individual pieces of stuff don't do a lot. Which is kind of a weird place to be in. You have to be a certain type of person to want to play that army. Honestly, it's a very Tyler type of army where you just have a bunch of shit that all has weird tricks, and you can hand wave and bamboozle your opponent until you magically win by 35 points, or they just run your fucking ass into the ground because they went first. That stuff is funny, but honestly, I think they're in a totally fine spot. If they just change the army rule, like you said, Alex, to work on all the units, that'd be pretty good. And then maybe, I don't know, some of the cult mech units that aren't taking so much, like the priests and stuff like that, could come down a little bit. The robots could come down a little bit. Overall, I like
I'm not sure they're in that bad of a spot.
Yep, I think AdMech are pretty. Anything to add on AdMech, Nick?
No, I haven't played against them that much. From what I've heard, it kind of seemed like the initial reaction was disappointment, but since then I've heard of a lot of people experimenting with them. I don't think they should get any changes in this data slate. I think keep experimenting with them. I think we revisit them next data slate, and if they're still in a really rough spot, maybe it's some detachment changes, maybe it's some points and decreases. That book has 6 detachments, 5 detachments. Yeah, there's a lot to explore in there. So, yeah, I think it's too early to change it.
Sisters of Battle.
Lobotomized prisoners need to be looked at and adjusted somewhat.
That unit is funny, dude. I don't want that. If anything, it should go down in points.
No, Luke. Yeah. Have you guys played against them? Or I played with and against them, and they just
played against them.
Do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Unless you have a 2-up armor.
Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, even with a 2-up armor, it's like that's still a lot. But yeah, that unit I think should have like the extremist trigger word thing that gives them bonus attacks. Maybe should be only once they can do that. Might be a good thing to look at to be fine on the offense side.
Or what if it like got worse every time you used it? Like the first time it was hazardous, and the second time it was hazardous on 1s and 2s, and then hazardous on 1s, 2s, and 3s, and like your guys just started vaporizing.
Yeah, or it's like it goes like you do it once to go to 6 attacks, and then once to go to 5, and then it doesn't work anymore. Maybe.
That'd be cool. Yep.
But I think realistically, just like if you did that so it was once and adjust their points slightly, like they're pretty silly, but some things can deal with them okay.
I like the internal variety that are in Sisters List right now. Like other than a couple of like melee units like Zephyrim and Repentia, and that kind of thing, I feel like there's a lot of variety. All of the main battle tanks are good. Rhinos are good. Immolators are good. Sisters of Battle are good. Novitiates are a little bit poop, but like whatever.
Some of those things are just waiting.
A lot of the characters are good. Paragons are good, depending.
For a Bloody Rose detachment, right?
Exactly.
I think the Shield Sisters are sort of in the sin bin.
That's true.
I think they're in a Paragons probably need a bring it down change to help them. Potentially.
Yeah, honestly, they could just like not be vehicles.
Yeah, they could be mounted or whatever, right?
Lead ball take 6, dude. Fine. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, they could just make them mounted. That might work. It'd probably be too strong to make them like beasts and be able to go through walls, right? But yeah.
What if they just made a change to bring it down to only give 1 point for like 1 to 6 wound vehicles? So that way, like crisis suits and Paragons don't get mega scammed.
That's or like a unit can give up a maximum of 5 or something like that. Or
that'd be cool.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of things you could do. But yeah, that probably should be looked at for like, because I think making Tower Battlesuits vehicles was interesting as a way to get around their, because last edition they basically had big guns never tire. That was an interesting decision, and making them not be able to go through walls. Maybe if this is tangenting a bit, but if Tau got like in their book they have like Battlesuit keyword, treat this as being the vehicle keyword for the purposes of big guns never tire and moving through walls, but not for anti or for secondaries, for example.
Yep, that'd be cool.
Could be, yeah.
So yeah, something very similar for Paragons. Something very similar for Paragons would be pretty good. Yeah. Overall, I think Sisters are in a good spot. I like what people have been starting to discover with them in the last couple months. Like everyone's initial impression was, "Oh, this codex is dog shit," and then like you tried experimenting a little bit, and it actually was not.
The Triumph is a little bit silly.
I don't think so. I think she's totally fine. As a 6 movement 6 gigantic lady who gives really cool buffs, like she gives a very defined castle to the army. And considering the army's also short ranged, having a low movement character with a short ranged army is very play aroundable.
I am kind of meaning the fact that it also has like, it's really oddly weird to target. Like it's quite durable for the points against most sort of things you consider, and it's like 18 sword attacks as well. Is a bit weird. Have you been punched by the Triumph?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
My 2 armies don't care very much about it, but I could see how into the wrong defensive profile, it definitely can clobber some shit.
I think it just maybe they should have like a little bit of just internal points adjustment stuff, right? Like some of the things that are always taken, like Exorcists maybe get tapped a little bit. Castigators, I think, are maybe fine.
Yeah, Arco Flash ones could go up unless you like seriously nerf their ability.
Yeah, Arcos get bumped a bit and maybe have the trigger word thing. Paragons get some bring it down help. Novitiates, Repentia, Zephyrim type things get a little bit of love. Just like minor internal balances is probably good. I feel like it was one other thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think Sisters are right on the cusp, as we've seen. I mean, they've done really well at some events. and like they're like done really well as soon as people kind of dug into that index. And with some other suggestions we're going to make to some of the top armies, I think that if you buff sisters too much, there's a worry that they like really just take over.
Yeah, I think it's like an internal adjustment thing, right? Like they're reasonably healthy. There's just a few things that are like stand out silly, but they sort of make the army work because some other things are suffering slightly.
Yep.
I also feel like the Exorcist should maybe have blast on its missiles, so that if you tag it, you can't just like have the organs go like woo and like shoot itself like up down.
I'd be cool with that. Anything to nerf indirect, I'm good with that.
Arguably,
I don't know if giving an indirect tank blast is a nerf. I think that's a buff. But
yeah, blast only if it's in engagement range.
There we go.
Yeah, let's go, dude.
All right. Next and final Imperium army. Oh, the illustrious TNG third party comes and shows up and gives us a little comment.
Tyler, just wait.
Tyler doesn't want to give them blast. Bummer, dude.
Tyler, wait till
round 1 tomorrow. You're gonna play. You're playing against Sisters round 1 tomorrow, dude. Say goodbye to those aberrants. You're getting blasted.
Dude, Lucas, wait till Tyler hears our proposed change for bugs. The one I messaged you about.
Yes, sir. All right, final Imperium army. Guard.
Just 2 more.
What's the other one?
Imperial Knights, right?
Oh, big facts.
Did we talk about IK?
No, we didn't talk about IK. Okay, let's power through Guard really quickly. I think Guard are in a good spot. I like them. People kind of overblow the indirect thing. I don't think, I think Basilisks are taken for the reason that you should take a Night Spinner, which is you take one of them to chip a little bit and to apply a debuff. They're not like actually tabling people. The profile at 922 is like not really that good. The Manicore is probably a little too efficient, but like that could get bumped up marginally. But the variety of stuff that you see in a Guard list is actually pretty cool. Like people are taking Cadians to sticky stuff. They're taking Catechins to scout at you. They're taking Kazarkins to revive and throw Meltamines. Like all of their infantry is good. Chimeras to be obnoxious transport and Tauroks to be obnoxious transport people. They're taking demo cannons and Leman Russ and tank commanders to do like mid-board shooting. That's pretty cool. They're taking scout sentinels to like run around and skirmish and call down the indirect.
And, like spot for your artillery. Yeah,
they're doing all sorts of different stuff. It's not just an indirect army that everyone makes it out to be. I really like Guard. Is it lame that it's a shooting only? No, that's not even true. They're taking Bulgrin. Like a lot of people are taking Bulgrin. They are a good combat unit.
What are some things that are not being taken? Because if there's an army that seems like healthy enough and none of the things seem too ridiculous, what are some things that are not taken in Guard? Can we think of any? Like
they're not taking the Rogel Dorn, and they're not taking a lot of the variants of the Leman Russ. That's the one thing I would love to see is just like some manner of making all of the guns viable.
Maybe make them cost different points.
No, that's unreasonable. They should all cost the same. Because they're all exactly the same value.
Dude, yeah, like having no multi-melters on the side and having multi-melters on the side, it's the same, dude.
Yeah. No difference.
Because like you can't hide in the UKTC ruins.
That's because the UKTC is shit. Anyway, but yeah, like I'd love to see something other than the demo cannon / occasional exterminator to give +1 AP. But on the whole, I honestly, if they didn't make any changes to Guard, I think they'd be happy. I'd be happy with them in a good spot. If they had to make one, it would be let's make some of the other Leman Russ weapons better. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I haven't got much experience with them, but like from what I understand, the lists are interesting enough and like have a bit of variety and sort of look like a Guard list. It could be like, I don't know, if there's things that are not being taken, like Ogren rather than Bulgrin. I don't know if Ratlings ever exists. Gaunt's Ghosts, so they still like silly with every keyword in the game.
Oh my god, they are nuts.
They're good.
Yeah.
They are nuts.
Like those sort of things. Rough Rider's not being used that much that I'm aware of. So just like the general, what's not being taken that much, give that a little bit of help. What are some silly things that are in everything? Like, that. But yeah. It'd be cool if they could like adjust their, it's like if you stand still, you get lethal hits, but like there could be some order or something, or if you're under the effect of an order, you get your lethal. Actually, that'd be cool, right? Like if you're under the effect of an order, you also get your lethals, or I don't know.
A change our homie Max suggested is let's encourage people to actually move around and shoot instead of just standing still and bombarding. And he suggested instead of standing still to get lethals, what if it was if you're within half range and can see your target, you get lethals. That way,
half range, so the indirect.
Yeah, like,
but you also have to see
indirect is the entire table. Yeah, you have to see them and you have to be within a half range. So, like, if you play aggressively with your artillery and move out and see them, then yeah, you can get lethal hits.
That'd be really cool.
You have to put yourself in harm's way.
And then maybe you get the Sentinel spotter gives the lethal hits to the artillery piece.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yep, I like that agenda a lot. Encouraging like waves of guardsmen running forward is super cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I think guard are very close. Finally, Imperial Knights, just revert the bondsman change.
I had another one that some people might not like, is that I think the towering points hikes that happened, now that towering is not stupid, maybe some of them could be looked at and going the other way, because like the thing I'll cite with this is the fact that Chaos Knights are not running. Chaos Knights are in a good spot, but they're still not really running big things. Sometimes you take a Rampager if you feel like it, because that has gone down since the start of the edition rather than up. But it's still a fringe take, right? So that means the big bodies are probably in need of a little bit of love. Imperial Knights, it's a bit different because they buff themselves with the bondsman interaction, right? But yeah,
definitely agree. As a whole, the shooting knights got bumped up too much when towering got fixed.
Canis Rex probably doesn't need an adjustment though, because he's still quite good. Yeah,
he's fine just the way he is.
Just to clarify that one. Although it would be nice to know that he can or can't use his free ability to like CP reroll stuff. Because
if he's an ally or just in general.
Well, CP reroll is a battle tactic, and then depending on which FAQ system you're using, you either can or can't use that for free.
CP reroll doesn't technically target him.
The WTC you can't
dice rolled by him,
reroll, but World Champs FAQ you can, I believe.
Question, guys: does ignoring modifiers at WTC ignore -1 damage in AOC?
I think so.
I think in the current WTC FAQ packet it does,
which has not been updated since WTC. Right.
Okay. It's updated like late September, but yeah, I think.
Cool.
Got it.
But yes, it hasn't been updated since this whole debate has been going on, really.
Oh, another interesting, maybe cool quality of life that could also help lessen confusion on things is the super heavy walker thing that lets you move over models and terrain less than 4 inches. One thing is clarify if that's meaning all models and terrain less than 4 inches, or things less than 4 inches that are models or terrain, because that's like an ambiguous, badly Englished thing in the rule. And also, it could be interesting if that happened in the charge phase also. Yeah, I am going to be cagey with these suggestions, though, being a knight player and knights being a very easy to hate on faction.
For sure.
It's all right, dude. We love knights here.
Cool. Imperial Tyler's not here. Easy, dude.
Yeah, we're all huge Imperial Knights enjoyers.
Yeah, definitely not both Lucas and my least favorite faction that we talked about a few weeks ago.
I don't know if it's my least favorite, but they're definitely up there.
What was the faction Lucas used to that if you got put on them, you would give up your starting spot at WTC? Was it Knights or Custodes?
Custodes. I despise that faction, dude.
Yeah, that was funny to hear, but like respectable.
All right, time to move on.
Get out of Imperium jail.
We've got a request to do Xenos next, so we're gonna do it.
The Orks?
Aeldari, no, dude. The Chad Xenos. Eldar.
Don't let non-Ynnari take the Incarn.
True.
For context, what's the like? How do you become a Ynnari again?
You have, I think it needs to specifically be Yvrain as your warlord.
Yvrain needs to be your warlord.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it. Oh, and you're not allowed to take certain other name characters.
Then you're not allowed to take Phoenix Lords, but you can take Drukhari allies, but not Drukhari Covens. I believe.
Which, by the way, Drukhari with the Eldar faction ability are kind of nuts.
Drukhari are also not quite as bad as people make out. There's some cool stuff in that.
I think there's some cool stuff in there. We'll talk about them next.
Yeah.
I think
do that so that you can't. It makes it a bit sad that you can't have double avatar, which is kind of neat. But yeah. Oh, the stupid
Night Spinner.
No, not that one. The other Dev Wound stupid Wraithguard. Their shoot thing is because you shoot them or something nearby, then they shoot whatever they want, right? It's not like a shoot back at the thing.
It needs to be shoot back at the target that shot them.
Yeah. That.
Yep.
Because like
that's dumb that you shoot your first brigand at them and then they vaporize 2 brigands. It's like
okay, it's also a little silly that it's very, very difficult to play around with Phantasm, but Phantasm is a whole separate issue. Which
I think people have complained about the Night Spinner debuff. I think it's fine. It's cool that like most slows are -2 move, advance, and charge. Theirs is -2 move and no advance, but like you can still charge normally. I think there's a cool little bit of nuance there. It's a little bit different, even though it is better, but like it's not so much better that it's unequivocally busted. What I want to see for the Night Spinner is just less damage. I think it needs to lose Twin Linked or Devastating Wounds.
Yeah,
and then maybe you can like bring it back down in points so it's not absurdly high. But like people are still bringing 3 of those to table people, and I think that's stupid.
Fugan probably should get looked at, but also probably will. Because like mana's silly.
He's a little bit dumb, yeah.
One thing we were talking about too was the Autarch Wayleaper.
Yeah.
We were talking about this like an episode or 2 ago, where we think that his CP ability being guaranteed is a big reason why like Phantasm feels so bad, is because they know they'll have 2 CP in their turn, no matter what, as long as that guy's alive. So we were thinking maybe even make it like a 2-up or make it a 4-up. We had another suggestion too. I was trying to remember what Tyler suggested that was really nice.
Oh, it was the range on the Farseer Flip a Miracle. No, Flip a Fate die to a 6.
Pretty cool thing. Yeah.
But I think the Wayleaper, like rather than just increase him in points, like just like try to make him unplayable, like remove some element of
what if you take
like, the army already. You could do that, yeah.
Let him join Swooping Hawks and take Lone Op away.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Just the fact that like the army already has so much guaranteed stuff with Fate dice, being able to like do Phantasm with like 0 risk, you know, on the CP thing is pretty annoying.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Any more thoughts for Eldar?
I don't want to think about it because I know something's going to happen, and I'm not going to like try and guess.
I like your Incarn change though. That's a cool idea.
That's a very innovative change. I like that a lot.
Make the Incarn like something that like you
innovative.
Have to
go back to the rules of you must be Ynnari to take the Ynnari god.
Yeah, I mean, I mean is no one has suggested that. I mean that I've listened to in the last little while, so that's a pretty cool idea. Drukhari, you were saying that you think this faction isn't as bad as people are making it out to be, Alex. Give me the
I
lowdown.
played against it, and there are definitely some cool things there. Like the pain token mechanic is a bit painful. It's kind of funny doing the Chronos Chronos following things around. Their detachment is just garbage, though. There are like
the
strategies are not good. Oh, another Eldar thing as well, and this applies to Drukhari, is it should be Fire and Fade, not and Fade. The fact that it doesn't require you to actually shoot to Fire and Fade is kind of dumb. And by kind of, I mean very.
Yeah. I like that the Tau one requires it.
Yeah.
I think, Eldar should be the same.
Yeah, I think honestly, Drukhari could go a long way by like maybe you give some way to actually make, because paid tokens can right now buff your you can
preemptively spend them to on the charge and advance ones, make them not preemptive. Just like you could spend a pain token to reroll an advance roll or a charge roll would be nice. Just a quality of life thing, because you can spend them on units at the start of a phase, and movement and charge you get to reroll advance or charge. In shooting and combat, you get to reroll hits for both. I think that's it. You have a certain amount.
I would honestly love it if your pain tokens in combat just like gave you reroll wounds as well. Their combat sucks. Like it wouldn't be insane to just do that as a quality of life upgrade. The other thing is, like you said, the detachment is dog shit. Right now, it is at the start of the battle. For if you have an Archon, Succubus, or Homunculus, you gain 1 pain token for each. Like, that is so horrible. That is like Death Guard pre-September levels of horrible, and I think they should
and also the stratagems are rubbish too.
Yeah, they should get a Death Guard level of glow up. Like, actually go in and change the detachment so that it does stuff. And like, I feel like similar to Death Guard, you will look at these units in a new light when they actually have an ability that lets them do something as a result. Like, thanks to the detachment.
And probably like tuning, maybe somehow toning back the we have a bunch of Dark Lancers, and giving them a bit of melee so it's a bit more balanced could be interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's like, cool, I have 3 Ravagers, 3 Scourge units with Dark Lancers that fire and fade, and then
6
Raider
units of
that also has
Cabalites
Dark
in
Lance.
6 Venoms.
Right. Dude, the Venoms thing as well, like the fact that Cabalites inside a transport give the transport sticky objectives. Like, there's some really cool stuff there. And
Venoms are really good.
And then there's like the rest. Yeah, and like this is so a local buddy plays Yanari is why I had the thing about the Incarn. Venoms in the Eldar thing where you take like 2 splinter rifles and 2 splinter rifles or something. And no, because the Venom has 2 splinter cannons, and you take the Cabalite one inside as well, and you have a Venom that's like, cool, here's like a bunch of shots into Grey Knights they have anti-infantry 3 up, and you get 2 AP on critical wounds.
Yeah, you Blade Storm it.
Yeah,
dude.
there's like some really cool things. I think I just need some of the do like Death Guard and be like, and also Votann, right? We're like, these things are garbage. Let's fix them a bit. And
Yep.
So like have maybe a bit more help with pain tokens, a bit more yeah.
Thoughts on Drukhari, Nick?
Yeah, it's kind of what I agree. Make their melee better. Like, the melee is a big part of their, aesthetic.
Dude, just quickly as well, the Rack sniper rifles are kind of funny. The Hex rifles that are like a 3 damage precision thing, and all their squads are goobers. Because I played Sisters versus Drukhari, and it's like, the army of a bunch of like 3 wound characters needs to be a bit careful.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like
the funny snipers.
There's stuff almost there. At risk of what's it called? Things happening. At risk of like thick city things happening, you could look to maybe do as well have like pain engines get the beast keyword rather than monster, so they can go through walls. It could be cool. Interesting. It might be problematic, but it's a thing you could consider.
Definitely. It's a cool idea.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Tyranids, boys. Tyranids.
Are you ready, Lucas? Are you ready?
Give us the lowdown, Alex.
Gargoyles 1 OC. You're welcome, Tyler. That's those things being 2 OC is
Tyler
silly.
Molding. Tyler quitting the game forever. No, seriously though, I feel like some kind of Go ahead.
Oh no! I'm not joking with that change though. I actually think that should be implemented. Them being 2 OC is silly, and otherwise they're a fine unit, I think.
The thing is, like, they can still steal objectives given their current movement.
Yeah, it's still 10 things that have assault, maybe an auto advance 6 depending on a detachment, fire and fade, like built-in jump, shoot, jump, and they can deep strike jump. It's still good, and there's 10 models, right? That's fine. They don't.
There's 7 points a model. Like, they're good on their own, even if they had like 1 OC and no assault weapon.
So some of those things maybe shouldn't be assault weapons also, but minor.
Neurolictor. The Neurolictor needs to go up like 25 fucking points. That guy is stupid.
I think it should also be a character.
I agree.
Because I was having a session with my buddy who when I played him with bugs. It's like it doesn't sit right in my brain that it's not a character, because like how many lone ops do you know that are like a single model lone ops that are not a character?
Basically, the Neurolictor
should be one. I feel like. They thought of the Tau Ghost Kill, but to me that's different because it's a monster it's a stealth thingy, right? Like a stealth big suit. But Neurolictors seem character-like to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like Tyranids. Part of their identity being like we have 15 single model units, and 2 of them are characters, and 3 of them are monsters, and all the other 11 of them are some little shitter idiot Biovore, Pyrovore, single Ripper Swarm. Why is that allowed? Neurolictor who doesn't have a single keyword that you can get kill points off of. Like, what is this stupid shit? Like, give them the keywords that they deserve, you know?
That's fair. The Biovore Spore Mine thing, it would seem, was still intended, but is weird. I don't think it would be that bad if Biovores didn't do the stupid stuff. Maybe just don't let Spore Mines do actions, but have them count for engage or something. Like, I'd be okay with that.
That'd be cool.
And
remove their eligibility to shoot.
yeah, this model is never eligible to shoot. Cool, done. This model is always counted as being battle shocked, or that would hurt the other two, but that's also maybe fine. The mines messing with advances is weird as well, but like,
I kind of like that, honestly. It's cool. It's like the minefield thing.
That's fair,
like, don't run through this minefield. You know.
Yeah, so I feel like maybe you should be able to end next to them, but not start. But, I think though to be fair, they need melee. Like, melee is not a thing you can find in the book, basically. Like, decreased carnifex is a little bit in points, I think.
Yep.
And like,
probably make the Tyrannifex a little cheaper.
Yeah, the Tyrannifex has got other issues. Just go back to the like previous version where it's -1 damage or something or other. Because apparently its blanket damage is when the attack is allocated, so it's before the saving throw.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's bad. That needs to be fixed.
Yeah. I think a lot of blanket damages are like that, like another Dorn is as well. But
really?
yeah, like buffing, make Raveners better in melee, make melee bioweapon warriors better in melee. What do you got? The other
I think
melee
those
units?
are on the edge in Vanguard. The melee bio warriors, they're potentially okay.
They're definitely good with a prime. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm thinking more like some of the monsters, right? Like, remember everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, the horror specs," but like, you can't move it anywhere, right? And then I don't know, give like a lot of their monsters an AP bump or something like that. Maybe just let them tank shock, like with their monsters.
True. That would be a big buff.
It's like a little, but yeah, because they don't have anything high strength. So it's not like it's auto 6 mortal wounds like it was with breaking through or whatever. Yeah.
It is quite dumb that Tyranids can't use grenades or tank shock for no discernible reason. Like that's kind of stupid.
Yeah. I don't know if it should or shouldn't happen, but like Synapse doesn't work on leadership things. So like the Exalted 8-bound, you can't fall back. Synapse on Gaunt units doesn't help against that. I don't know if that's something you should consider. I think it's possibly just a fine different interaction. But that was funny to find out.
That.
Yeah. No, but like, I think they're not a horrible spot. Help them with how some of their damage works, because at the moment, if you want damage in Tyranids, it is Excrons and Maleceptors. And that's it, right?
Boring. Yeah.
Yeah. And some other cool stuff, but yeah.
Cool. Genestealer Cults.
Let Tyranids and Genestealer Cults be in the same thing.
They should be able to be allies. I think GSC suffers more than maybe almost any other army in the game from the free war gear changes in 10th, but also like I think that's honestly just the biggest one.
Can they just nerf demo charges the thing so that demo charges are like in line with the other weapon options that the unit can take?
Exactly. Or why do we need to have radium? We need to have radium Giselle chickens and Taser Lance chickens because they're different war gear options. So they need to cost different points. But then 5 acolytes with no weapons is like should be a 50-point unit, but instead it has to cost 90 points because demo charges exist and they're one of the most ridiculous guns in the game.
Why don't they, rather than making demo charges cost points, why don't you just make demo charges less stupid?
Exactly. Make
right?
them strength 9 or something.
Like make them some like, here, each one is D3 shots of reasonable damage or something. It still has blast that gets to hit on 4s now because it's, you know, D3 shots, strength, something sensible, damage 2, is it? That, yeah, fine. AP, maybe make it AP1 because there's so many ways you can like add AP and strip cover, so that then it's like, okay, now the unit can cost the sensible number of points, rather than making them separate. Just like the best range weapon in Imperium is like some sticks of TNT and duct tape. Like,
yeah,
why is that a thing?
It's pretty silly.
I don't know if it should have the advanced, assault keyword as well, either, or maybe the one shot plus advance combo is weird. The fact that I used to be holding a piece of dynamites, now I can run an action. Sorry, I mean not do an action, but be eligible to shoot. But yeah, because that also probably fixes the problem of like, haha, I dropped my bomb, and then come back and then do it again. Like if it's just a reasonable thing to get hit by, then it can be fine.
Yep. All right. Is Alex turned into a robot for you, Nick?
This is true. I think something's going on with your connection alone.
It's probably our connection, to be honest, given the weather situation.
I'm hearing you guys okay, if that helps at all.
Okay, now you're back. Hello.
A little better now.
I turned my headset mic off and on again. Maybe that helped.
And you slowly started disintegrating into like 4-pixel land, and then the language, your voice started going robot mode as well. But now you're back.
Oh yeah, I'm looking for YouTube.
There's my beautiful boy. What's up?
All right.
But yeah, we basically got everything you said there. Some of the war gear stuff is dumb. It's silly that they're so cheap, but also like, it's silly that they're so expensive, but their units also do an insane amount of damage. They kind of have to be. It's just silly. How do you feel about it, Nick?
I agree. Every single data slate where we've talked about GSC, it's why is the demo charge still the demo charge? Like the faction is kind of being held hostage by this weapon, right? Like you can't decrease the points on acolyte. Like, you can't like make them a horde army until you do that. You can't like, they're forced to be playing like 20 acolytes, going all in on the bombas. So I like what Tyler is doing with like allying Brood Brothers in. Like that's a super cool thing that a lot of people are like trying to do now.
His comment as well about making Brood Brothers be a codex choice so that you can do the actual deep strike them and take a big unit that's cheap was interesting too.
Yeah. I would love for GSC to get a little more jank if you reduce their damage. I think every GSC player would love that as well.
Yep.
And probably a lot of people playing against GSC.
Yep.
Agree.
The other thing too is, for the love of God, can the data slate figure out what the rulings on GSC are supposed to be? The fact that this army is played in like 17 different ways, depending on which tournament you walk into, and if it's like a Saturday or if it's rainy, like please just like tell us.
And the Nexus being able to can the Nexus give its unit +2 AP because you spend the AP strategy and you spend it for free?
Start with
the fact
shit.
that the rules just keep changing, like because of something GW has said in the game, and then all of a sudden Tyler comes to us and he's like, "Hey guys, by the way, new GSC patch just dropped this morning," and we're like, "What?" And he's like, "The deep strike change, the army's back on the menu," and we're like, "Oh my god!" Like, it's just please figure out how you want GSC to play, so then you can actually bounce around them. Because right now they're being played in like 4 different ways. I kid you not.
Yeah.
That's what I would love in the data slate for them. And also Bomba Nerf, because then it opens up a lot more design space in the faction.
All right.
There's a melee weapon.
Liaguis of Votann.
Give Sagittars a tap.
Yep.
And that may be about all that's needed.
I don't know, man. Make Grim Demeanor work on AOC and -1 damage. That just needs to be a general clarification in the game.
Yeah.
Like it should work on the weapon characters as well.
Votann are interesting because
I think they're in a fantastic spot.
Every unit in that book feels very good and not OP outside the Sagittar. The Sagittar is a little bit too cheap for what it does. Another some changes you could do for the Sagittar. You could increase its wounds by 1 to make it give up 3 bring it down points.
Decreases OC by 1.
True.
Yeah.
Why is there OC3?
There are a lot of OC3 vehicles out there, actually.
No, there are not.
It's mainline battle tanks get moved 10 OC3, transports get moved 12 OC2.
Yeah.
And the mainline battle tanks also usually get toughness 9, 10 wounds. The Sagittar's got a bunch of the things backwards.
Yeah. Well, it's because they're partially they're weird because like Votann doesn't have like a mid-tier tank.
Right? Even if they made it like toughness 8, 9 wounds, 2 up save, or 10 wounds, probably 10 for bring it down. So bring it down might need adjustment in general, right? But yeah,
that's the other thing I was gonna say. Bring it down could also be changed to 9 wounds is now the cutoff for plus 3 points, right?
Or it could be 11, right? So rhinos and stuff up, but we don't need to be buffing rhinos. So
exactly, yeah. I'd be fine. Sagittars could be going on to OC2 as well. Yeah, there's a lot of changes you could make to them. Honestly, like, because here's the funny thing: if you increase them by like 5 points, there's a lot of Votann lists I make that are like 1960, and now I just play that list.
Yeah,
like, so I don't think the points thing is going to be that interesting. I think it's more just the fact that the Sagittar, like, sure, you can make them go by 5 points each, 10 points each, sure, but then you probably don't want to touch their characteristics. I think it might be a little more interesting if you touch their characteristics and keep their points the same.
The odd thing should maybe get a leadership improvement as well. The whole army.
Oh my god, yes.
Right?
True.
The fact that everything in that book is leadership 7 outside of the Grimnir is ridiculous.
It's
It's the Carl 7.
The call, dude, the named character, like the destined leader of their faction, is leadership 7. His name is a battle line troop. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. I think the call.
Hey, dude, the Blue Scribes are a named character that are leadership 8.
I think at least the call and Uthar should be leadership 6.
The Terminator
maybe,
should as well.
Maybe the Einhir champ. Oh, you think the Hearthguard?
I think the Terminators absolutely.
Yeah,
should.
Terminator should be 6. That's
all of the tanks and dudes and bikes being 7. The Chthonian Berserks is 7. That's fine. That's totally fine. Yeah,
but I like the elites that
and the characters should all be 6.
When you attach the guys to the Hearthguard, now they're leadership 6. But sure, fine. I'd be fine with them being leadership 6. But yeah, what I was gonna say with Votann though is like, because like here's the thing, it's like Hearthguard feel really good, but not like insane. So do you like decrease their points? No, because then they get insane, right? Like they put out like a ludicrous amount of shots. They have 2 up armor. Like the big change was like they fixed Votann very well back in September. I agree with you guys. I think leadership changes, like make the elite guys leadership 6.
You could maybe
slightly
look at the CP judgment token interaction. Like maybe it's if you kill 2 of the things that you judge at the start, or you get 2 CP, or you only hand up 3 things, you could slightly tweak that, maybe, so it slightly less feels bad.
I don't know. I think it's. Yeah. I think once the opponent understands the mechanic, I think it's very play aroundable, and there's like trade-offs. Yeah. It's a cool little mini game.
I'm not saying it's wildly problematic. Just like if you want to give them something else that's an adjustment, but is not like, hey, you don't get fun, like no fun allowed, here's your points nerfs sort of thing. Because the Sagittar is probably the only thing that really needs that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think the Sagittar is like the big thing. I think Votann are very close to being super well balanced. And that's why I think just a slight tap for Sagittar and then fix a couple things like let Grim Demeanor work and give them some leadership is like, that's probably fine. What's up?
The little Corv bots shouldn't count against transport capacity.
Facts. That is stupid as hell.
The fact that a Grimnir, right, is 3 models and he can join Hearthkin only, right? So here's your 2 options. You can either have him join a 10-man Hearthkin and he's 13 models and a Hecaton's transport capacity is 12. So he cannot ride in a Hecaton with 10 guys. Or you can have him join a 5-man Hearthkin squad, right, to go in a Sagittar. That's 8 models. A Sagittar's capacity is 6.
That's so funny, dude.
It is impossible for the Grimnir to join a squad of Hearthkin and ride in either transport.
No, what you can do is you can join him to the other 5.
You can join him to the 5-man, and put him in a Hecaton.
Join him to the other 5 and put him in a fortress.
Terrible. Buddy.
Terrible.
That's the strat, baby.
The other thing too is the what is it? I don't really like him.
Could you also join him to a Hearthguard unit that's been split and then split again by another transport? Can you do that? So you have 2 guys to camp your home field, 3 guys to join your Grimnir to hop in a Sagittar, and 5 guys in a Sagittar. Can you split a squad multiple times?
No.
Each Sagittar picks a squad of dudes and splits it.
Yeah, but if you pick a squad of 5 with it, that's already been split. Can you do that?
No,
I don't know.
No, you take one squad of Hearthkin and you turn it into 2 squads of 5, as I believe what the rule says.
Okay. Anyway, we're down the rabbit hole again.
Other thing too is the Forge Master guy can't go in the Hecaton with 3 Thunderkin, because they count as 3 models each. And
Probably
he's like
also
models.
don't let them allocate to the trash bots in that, like, if you have the boss man in his like with his attendants or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And 6 grav, and you're like, I'm going to point my anti-tank guns at you, and it's like, cool, you flattened 2 robots.
Yep.
That probably should be adjusted also.
Yeah, I agree.
A similar weird one as well, actually, which maybe people will be upset about, is the fact that, like, if you're playing Sisters and you have Celestine and Gemini on her own, you kill one Gemini, then you start taking them on Celestine, so she's still got the 4 up.
Yep.
Those things should probably be looked at, like the tiering of bodyguard.
The nice
also,
thing, at least,
the silly precision being just like really weird if there's multiple characters attached, but working completely fine if there's one. For general Dataslate stuff, clarification.
Yeah,
for sure.
The nice thing, at least with the Votann one, is I know the little robots don't have the character keyword, so they have to take the wounds before the character.
Yeah, but it means that then they could take the wounds while in the squad.
Yeah, but like with the Gemini thing there, do the Gemini have the character keyword or no?
They do not. It's just because they're not an attached unit. You can't allocate to a character if it's an attached unit. So if there's no attached unit, then you can allocate however you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other thing I was going to say that I would also really, really, really like, I think that the Hecaton, like, because that's kind of like been fringe played. Like, if you want to encourage people to like bring 1, maybe 2, right, over some Sagittars, I think that you maybe need to increase a little bit of diversity amongst its like top gun. Because right now the only gun that's really that good is the conversion beamer. I don't think, like, a small change, I think that the Magna Rail cannon could just go to like base BS3. I think that'd be a cool change. Like, it's a single shotgun. Now
you could maybe also make the ones on the Warriors base BS4.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, because also there's the silly interaction of, like, they have a bunch of heavy weapons and judgment that gives +1 to hit, right? Which is just like an anti-synergistic.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that would be cool, just to like kind of increase, because the thing is that we're not going to be changing points that much, right? And we want to encourage like a little bit more like unit diversity, because like really the only units that aren't really being taken is like the Hecaton. So if you want to encourage them taking that, I think you just like create a little more diversity amongst like, the top gun.
But also I've seen that be taken as well, so I don't think it's horrible.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to change its points. Clarify too in an FAQ if you can, what happens if you use the sustain 2 stratagem and you have a sustain D3 gun? Do you roll D3 first to find out which value is greater, or do you have to declare beforehand?
That's so niche and so funny.
Yeah, we've been saying you have to say beforehand, but like
that makes sense to me.
At least make a ruling on it, GW. Like
that's really funny.
Yeah. Which one's greater, D3 or 2? All right, moving on to Necrons.
That's it for Votann.
How do you guys feel about Necrons right now? I know their codex just came out, but
they just came out.
Hypercrypt is fun to play. I have Necron bases.
Yeah,
I think
I have 65s and 60, and wonder why.
I think there might be some internal balance issues, but I feel like enough units are playable and enough detachments that I think they're in a pretty decent spot. If you really
things, like the Silent King should have the Triarch keyword, so he works in the like Triarch and what's it called? Detachment? Triarch.
Oh, to get +1 to wound.
Obeisance phalanx. Yeah.
Yeah, just like that would be a thing that would be nice. I think there's a few other things that should have the keyword like that.
Yeah, I agree. That detachment is one that is like so close to being playable, I think. Like, it is playable. But like compared to Hypercrypt and like Awakened Dynasties and Canoptek Court, I don't think it's as strong as those 3.
It's a little sad that some of the melee's a bit, but oh well. Like, it could be cool if the Scorpex, like, because what is it? Like, you attach a character to the Scorpex and they get lethal hits, and a Plasmancer gives them devastating wounds, which is just like,
yeah,
you know, like maybe you attach the character and you get reroll wounds or something.
The Destroyer detachment was a huge whiff. Oh, that's the big thing. I would love if they allowed like the blood surges in the Destroyer detachment to actually let you end in melee.
True.
That that is key to that detachment working. As written, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like Scorpex are tanky, but they're not like unkillable tanky. So letting you like kind of bounce from ruin to ruin, and then once you like hit your opponent, now you're like sticking to them. I think that'd be a cool niche for them to have, because like Necrons don't have like advance in charge. They don't have like transports to transport their infantry. Like there's the Night Scythe, but like you have to put the plane in the sky, and then the plane has to come in, and then the plane has to live, to get out.
How the Night Scythe comes in turn 1. Because it's allowed to come in turn 1, but it comes in from strat reserves. There's not rules for strat reserves on turn 1.
You can't. Yeah.
That's dumb. I have heard of people that like just sort of house rule it, as in like, we treat turn 1 strat reserves as if they're turn 2, which seems reasonable. Yeah. You could also just make that as a global thing, so then there's not the weird like, I have the deep strike keyword, so I can up, down, like go up top of 1, come down bottom of 1 because I have the deep strike keyword, but not because I'm strat reserve. Yeah, that would be a nice thing.
I think a big complaint I've been hearing so far about Necrons is that it's just like Catan spam the army. And I really think if you want to encourage people to move away from Catan, you need to give Necrons another sort of like frontline threat. And right now there's just like no deliveries.
Wraiths.
They can kind of punch too. Like Catan are good because they're like durable and can also like kind of punch pretty well. You know, like the Nightbringer can kind of like he was not going to dig himself out of like 10 guys, but he'll definitely like go kill a character or something like that.
The Nightbringer?
Yeah.
With his 14 sweep attacks? He can like potentially dig himself out of 3 guys. For sure.
No. Yeah. I said like 10 guys. Like he's going to get bogged down by like a horde or something like that.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Or like, you know, he's not going to go one-shot a squad of 10 sword brethren.
No, because they've got 3 wounds to the breakpoint. But yeah. Yeah, like Lichguard being a tanky unit rather than like a little bit of brawly.
And they're slow. They're so slow.
They're slow. They're not even. Yeah, they aren't even actually tanky anymore.
Dude, what do you mean? Just pay a 350 point tax and 2 CP to have your monolith drive up and then teleport them forward so that they can charge in the 1 detachment.
Yeah. I'm not saying Krons need to be like the advance in charge, like engage first army. I love that their like melee was like, come to this section and we will now countercharge you, or like we'll come out and fight you on this objective. That's cool.
Also, let's be real, we're talking about buffing things, and they probably, if anything, need to be toned down ever so slightly instead, right? Based off of performance, maybe?
We'll see. A lot of that performance is with...
Yeah, no, I guess what I'm saying is, like, if we want to... I don't expect any changes for Necrons this data slate, but, like, a big complaints I keep hearing is, like, Catan spam. So if you're going to, like, take away Catan, I feel like you need to at least have like some sort of alternative that's maybe not quite as strong, but like some sort of like melee out there. Like what you were saying, it's a bummer that like their dedicated melee units are kind of a whiff this codex.
Yeah, and Catan should maybe be more points, or the Feel No Pain is not right. Or
what if he only got to take 1 named one?
You just take the Nightbringer.
That was like,
though. I don't know if it's that.
Exactly. Yeah. The Deceiver's bad and the Void Dragon's niche. Like,
yeah, it'd be cool if the Deceiver actually like was good. Ever.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
He's just been bad for like forever, as far as I can tell, which is sad.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Anyway, he could even just be given lone op, as horrible as that might be.
I think what I'm most interested in seeing is how like the Cron data changes now that the dev wounds is gone.
Yeah.
Right? Because that list was also like very plug and play, wrecking people.
And if people start working out how to sort of deal with wraiths and stuff like that, wraiths should be OC1, by the way.
True.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be like a significant improvement to the situation, I think. Right? If they sort of do some melee and they are tanky, but at least they're not also, hey, this objective's mine because I'm covering
increases the OC of like the
the scarabs that, depending on whose turn it is, they are or aren't OC1 if they're battle shock. Or
What's that? Like, is that the spider who does that?
no,
that's
it's
the
a cryptic.
cryptex.
Any
That's
cryptic
a
near scarabs.
that's just on the scarab data sheet, right?
Yeah. Scarabs reduce others' OC, and if they're near a cryptic, they set their OC to 1.
It could be interesting if they made something like raids where OC 1, and then but like a spiders have an aura to increase all Canoptech OC by like 1, so it encourages taking like a little more units.
Yeah.
Like I like that whole. I don't know.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because like the Canoptech court detachment basically being like Wraith spam plus Immortals was kind of lame. Plus Catan, right? Like you didn't see very many other Canoptech units in there.
Yeah. I like I was kind of mentioning to begin with. I think that's a problem with internal balance in general. Like, what are the good units in Necrons? Well, Immortals were insane. Now they're good. Wraiths are good. Catan are good. Insert a couple of trash units. Question mark, question mark, question mark. That's like 5 units out of 30 that are even like playable.
Yeah. Their battle tanks aren't that good.
Their tanks are bad. Their troops are fine. They have so many.
Immortals are good. Yeah, warriors are meh, but can be funny with Hypercrypt and a Chronomancer.
Scorps are definitely their best melee unit.
There are just so many things that are situational.
Yeah,
could be.
There isn't anything out there like in any of the detachments that really makes Scorpix that much better, you know? Like, obviously the Annihilation Legion, but that detachment's terrible, so.
Yeah. All right. We're done with Necrons. Moving on to Orks.
Make Warg at the top of the turn.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Hopefully that's
you were saying
codex. What's up?
Weren't you saying like it'd be really cool if Wa could be called at the start of either player's turn or something?
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That would be even better than obviously even better than
so you could choose to use it offensively or defensively.
Yes, that'd be even better.
I mean, obviously
you'd
still
your command phase, but
yeah,
it being the battleground is dumb. It's so much worse when you go second. It's stupid. That needs to be fixed.
GW seems really focused on trying to make the WA a defensive thing. So let the Orc player choose.
Which is terrible. Like everyone who uses it defensively is not getting the best part of it, which is +1 attack and advance and charge.
Yeah.
The a 2-turn mechanic could be interesting as well. And the fact that some of the things like a war boss in WA or not is like less than half the attacks, right?
Yeah, he goes from 9. He goes from 4 at 10-2-2 to 9 at 11-2-2. So like it's dramatic. I do not like the 2-turn WA. My biggest complaints with the Orc book, Orc Index anyway, and I hope this gets fixed in the book, are like thematic ones. I don't feel like it feels like Orcs very much at all. It's like an eclectic mix of shit that doesn't make sense. There's no like coherent theme to it. It's just like a bunch of random bosses and like 2 10-man units, and then like 10 Gretchen, 5 Storm Boys, and then like 5 the named character. It doesn't make any sense at all. So I think it needs some theming, and I feel like a 2-turn WA also misses the theme. Like the whole point of Orcs is we have one gigantic timing push. We have the one go turn where we make it or we break. I think that is pretty cool. So I like what they've done with the 1 turn. It makes it so much more like important. Like it shapes the game around the WA turn, which is like what Orcs are supposed to do. They're supposed to make the opponent play your game. But the fact that you have to call at the start of the battle round is kind of lame. So if they fix one but not the other, I'd be very happy with that. And then, just thematic stuff. It feels like this codex was trying to do a bunch of things. It was trying to promote MSU, trying to promote transports, trying to promote big bosses. And it's like it does all of those things okay, and it doesn't do any of them well. And it's just kind of like a sad mix of everything.
Some of the things that seem a bit odd as well are like the what is it? The like beast snaggers having the anti-vehicle thing on them doesn't entirely make sense to me as to either why or some of the interactions. Like do they always hit on 2s and they have a bunch of vehicle nonsense sort of? There were a few things there that are like seemed weird them compared to regular boys. What was the other one? I think I blanked.
They definitely get better into vehicles and monsters. Like pigs and bosses alike have anti-vehicle 4-up on their main attacks, which is good. And snaggers get real hits into vehicles, which is also pretty good. I like that neither of those units just like clobber the shit out of any vehicle or monster they hit. It'd be kind of dumb if it was just like, I hit my preferred target, you get deleted. I honestly kind of like where it is right now, where like they have these niche applications where like one little skirmishing unit of pigs that's mostly a defensive unit anyway can go kill a rhino, and units of Beast Snagger boys in the right situation can go and punch up into some vehicle or monster. Like a unit of those guys is actually really good into like something like Catan, for instance, because of like the strength break points and reroll hits.
To me, it seems slightly weird. It's Beast Snagger, but usually it's used against vehicles like tank busters, true tank, and Beast Snaggers kill monsters. Maybe that gets a bit weird, like depending on what you face. But yeah,
tank busters are. I was looking at that unit. They need urgent help.
Yeah, I don't know what they do.
They're 22 points a model for an hour. And remember, the ability on these guys specifically counters monsters and vehicles. Average of 3 damage to an armiger for 22 points a model. Unit of 5. From a unit of 5. You spend 110 points, do an average of 3 damage to an armiger when it's your preferred target. Cool. So yeah. Buff units like that and give the army a coherent theme. And I'm hopeful because the codex is coming out soon, but I'm also very nervous because they totally might not do a green tide detachment because everyone apparently wants to play Zoom or Orks. I am nervously optimistic.
I was saying I would like a sick Beast Snagger one where the like kill rigs and hunter rigs become like an aura, like a living totem for the Orks. And
yeah, I want to see
why the head of Beast Snagger would be different.
I'm kind of Goth Beast Snagger stuff was cool for a while, but I like Snake Bites being the tribalistic kind of backwards Orks. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Orks actually have a lot of potential to do cool things with the codex, right? Like a speed war detachment. Please don't go like to last edition stupid speed war buggy nonsense, but like
you want infinite snacking hit monster
and like a green horde like
this is what we need. The Wall Tribe detachment doesn't have a theme. Like it was supposed to be Goths, but it failed to do that. The Goth detachment needs to be the Green Tide detachment, and it needs to incentivize you to take big units and do lots of melee damage. If it doesn't do anything else, fine. Just let it do those two things very well. And let all the other detachments do their things very well. We need a Speed Wall detachment. We need a Dread Mob detachment. We need like an Odd Boys detachment that incentivizes you to take Ludas and Burnas and Pain Boys and Tank Busters and all like the specialist old Orc models that aren't Beast Snaggers. And then we needed a Beast Snagger detachment, tribalistic like Feral Orcs, or what are they called in fantasy? Savage Orcs. And then we're fine. But like if we just get generic shit that doesn't have a theme, it's gonna be lame.
The beast bosses seem a little silly sometimes with the I played into a buddy and like I had multiple turns of like multiple World Eaters things trying to hit this beast boss, and it's like I didn't have the +1 to wound and he's like -1 and just like nothing happens and they feel no pain. That's a little silly. I'm not
a little silly. It's fine though. They do zero damage, so it's okay.
Yeah, adjusting that a little bit so it's like it does a bit of damage and is quite tanky, could be better, but yeah.
If they bumped the Feel No Pains on those guys to 5-up, but gave them all their weapons +1 AP.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be good. Yeah.
I'd also love if they'd clarify if the Wall banner gave like the unit they were in the wall buffs.
Oh yeah,
I know that's been a kind of like contentious topic. Are you aware of this at all, Alex? What the Wall banner does?
No, I've played against the buddy, and he just said like the Wall banner could use as like a 1 turn just for that unit Wall or something. It seemed cool.
It's like a 1 turn Wall for that unit. But then the whole thing about like the war boss is like while the Wall is active, you get more attacks. So it's like
So for those who have
war boss is sorry, you can explain it.
For those who haven't heard about this, the way it works is the war boss and Makari both have abilities that say when you call a Wa, which when you look at what calling a Wa is, it's calling the Wa at the start of a battle round in your army rule. The Wa banner says this unit once per game can get the benefits of the Wa as if you would call the Wa. So like, does that work or not? Doesn't seem like it to me because you did not call a Wall that battle round. But
so what? Are you saying the banner does nothing or it only does some of the things?
I'm saying it gives you the benefit. It gives you advance and charge, +1 strength, +1 attack, and 5 up invuln. Because
But
that's
it
the
doesn't-
benefits of calling a Waaagh.
But is the argument that like you don't get Makari's like bonus thing that gives you lethal hits or something, or
Yes, exactly. You wouldn't get the lethal hits. The war boss wouldn't get +4 attacks. Like
Yeah.
if it's
Yeah.
intended, that's totally fine. But in my opinion, it very clearly does not work right now.
But some
and
tournaments
so you
have
think it
been
should
like,
or shouldn't? To clarify, you think it
I
should
think it
give
should.
the...
I think it's clearly intended, but
Yeah,
it does
yeah,
not work
yeah,
that way
cool.
right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
it doesn't seem like it works raw, but like some tournaments have ruled it does.
Gotcha.
Like at least clarify it. That it would be cool if it did, is what I'm saying.
I can't remember
Love a
what my
good
buddy
Waaagh
played
with
it as. I
benefits.
think he may have played it as the like... I don't think he would have looked in depth enough to see the reasons it might not work, so just assumed it worked, which also seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, it's totally reasonable. That's the way it should work, like I said.
Yeah.
Okay, Tau.
Which, to poke fun a little bit, is probably how Orc players would, typically work. You're an exception, Lucas.
Tau Empire, boys.
Yeah.
I like Tau. I think Tau are in a good spot.
I think- Sorry,
I
the
have-
big change that you suggested, the bring it down one, is good.
Do something about bring it down. Have it be something other than Codex Sibs.
Yeah.
See Custodes comments about weird niche Forge World things and Tetras.
True.
Probably a little
they
too
could-
tanky for their points.
My comments about I mean, we're talking about like internal diversity, but like even within units for key units, like for guard, right? I mentioned how Leman Rust is. They need to have more weapon options than one.
Yeah.
For
Codex
Crisis
Sib.
Suit, they need to have more weapon options than Fusion and Sibs. Like
People
make
take
plasma
Fusion?
rifles and because AOC is a huge problem for the army and -1 damage.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, bring back airbursts.
Oh god.
Make make Tetras one model
Maybe
units.
not. Yeah,
It's kind of weird that a
one,
Tetra, like you kill a whole Tetra and then get the other 7 wound Tetra down to 1 wound and it still operates at full effectiveness.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Weird thing that I would quite like is for being at half to count as below half for rules, because it's a weird, confusing interaction that like I'm a 2 model unit with multiple wounds. I don't even need to take a battle shock check unless I'm facing Chaos Knights or Tyranids. That's yeah.
Yeah, 1+ saves, that would be crazy. That'd be kind of wild. It's a good thing that we haven't like never done that in the game before, and like have no precedent that that's the way the game's worked for like 9 editions, right?
Yeah, dude, what if we came up with like a power level where like we look at the power that each different bit of war gear has, and so it's like a more granular system that you can use?
What if we just played like Age of Sigmar like monkeys and we didn't think about list construction at all? Thoughts?
That's what we're doing.
That's definitely what we're doing right now.
Afford that. I have Warhammer models. I can't buy Sigmar models because I can't buy things in this country, Lucas.
So yeah, Tau, switch up the weapon options a little bit. Make Bring It Down less stupid.
They need a Mont card attachment as well, right? So that they're not just like, haha, we wait for the funny 6s. Their get back into a transport thing needs adjustment because it's like wholly within 6, not like wholly within 3 or something, not like wholly within 6. And also you can get around it by charging the dudes next to them and then clobbering them. But yeah, that thing is a bit wonky.
Oh, good comment by Sam here, dude.
I saw that.
What is it?
Sam, what do you play?
Sam's
Sam's
thing
a
was
meta
just play
chaser.
Conquest, which is a very, very good square-based fantasy game.
Oh no, dude.
Oh no, dude.
Yeah. No, I think Tower in a weird spot, because the Bring It Down thing and the
let's go.
Sibs and whatever, and yeah.
Sweet.
Cool.
Okay, we're 2 fucking hours in. Let's finish. Let's knock out Chaos really quick.
Okay,
we only have 6 factions.
Easy, dude.
All right, Chaos Space Marines. What do we want to see in the
Talked
days?
about them a little bit last show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just to summarize, because we talked about them last show, and then we'll have Alex comment a little bit. Change some of the stratagems. The Nurgle strat's probably a little too good. Don't let different marked units go in different transports. That's stupid. The Undivided stratagem is too good. You can either make it 2 CP or you can make it reroll hits or wounds, not both.
You could also maybe make it not a battle tactic. Their AOC should probably be 1 CP. I don't see why it's 2. Just
yeah,
as a, like, you know,
thematically it makes sense, but yeah, it totally could go down to 1. Chosen and
why
Lords
does
can
it make
just
sense
go up in
thematically?
port
Sorry.
because their armor's older. Like it's literally
It's war
falling
pardon
apart.
though, but yeah, sure.
I'm more pardoned.
God damn it, dude.
The thing is, I don't know if Chosen and Lords need to go up if you make those changes to how marks interact and the strat, but maybe they do. The Lord is still pretty silly. Any additional thoughts than that, Alex?
I don't have a whole lot. Maybe just like don't have the Nurgle strat be a loan up, or you could make it a longer distance loan up, like an 18-inch one.
True.
Yeah. There's probably some more things, but I don't know. I don't. Chaos and Eldar I didn't put as much thought into because it's like they're sort of the things that we know are probably going to get something addressed. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm cool. Something will happen to them. Hopefully it's correct and enough or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they're a lot closer than people give them credit for. All right, Death Guard. Changes I want to see to Death Guard are a couple of the key units, not key units, but like the iconic units like Blight Lords and Death Shrouds could probably go down in points or get better rules. I think Death Shroud are good, but they need points drops. I think Blight Lords just have dog shit rules and need like an actual data sheet ability that's good. But if you change both of those, then it becomes really cool. Did I disconnect? What's up?
No. We had Sam in the chat asking about what our thoughts on a Cursed and Dark Commune are. I know you were saying they should probably just get some like points taps, but like
I think they're honestly fine, having played with them. Like they get going to an 18-inch loan up, like Alex was suggesting, is fine.
You could make Zinch Dark Commune get a 5-up invul, and the rest of them give a 6-up, maybe.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
The thing
like,
is,
it doesn't.
The army gets
way.
blown. Like that unit gets blown up. As soon as you point blast units at it or like volume of damage to, it is not a hard unit to just kill. Here, you know what? Here's something you could actually do to make them reasonable. Is make them OC1.
Are they OC2?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Weird. This is like the make you OC1 sort of thing. Accursed Cultists, Gargoyles. Reduce OC by 1. Wraiths. Sagittars. Just drop OC for silly things.
I mean, not bad. And yeah, talking about Chaos Knights and Death Guard could also reduce their OC by 1. You know.
Nope.
Thoughts?
Nope. In fact, increased by 1.
Of what? Chaos Knights.
What do you guys think about Death Guard?
Maybe don't have the Death Guard thing stack with Chaos Knights to give the Chaos Knights bonus AP effectively.
Yeah. That should only work
like when a Death Guard unit is resolving an attack against a enemy unit in the Death Guard aura.
Or an enemy unit is resolving an attack against a Death Guard unit for the worse and ballistic skill weapon skill thing as well.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe, yeah. I wonder if you give the Flesh Mower on the drone a tiny bit of love, because I've heard that's meh. And then
the
they can have like
something
sort of fast. Yeah. But
I think they're in a generally
not too bad. Huh?
The little other like demonation they have are those Blight Haulers, so it is.
There's the fart cards, which are the Blight Haulers that have the missile launcher and the multi-melter, and I think they'd like spit at you or something. And then there's the drone that either has like the lawnmower or the 2 like anti-infantry flamer thingies, plague spears or spitters.
I think Death Guard a good spot. I like the change of auras not affecting the Death Guard aura, not affecting like the Chaos Knights in any way.
I think they're also like heavily dependent on Nurglings. So like if they could have like their spawn be cheaper or have something, maybe the Poxwalkers are just garbage and need to be fixed. Are they 0 OC or something weird? Is that why they're useless?
No, they just move 4.
Okay, fix that, please.
Maybe let them infiltrate.
They're zombies. They should move 4. Just make them dirt cheap. Like why can't we have dirt cheap units in this game? It's because they're terrified of making things like it seem hard to get into this game. Like, okay, fine. Maybe people don't buy Poxwalkers to begin with. Who cares?
Yeah. But yeah, cool. Something like that. Like if they are crutching on Nurglings, which probably need some adjustment, then like give them something cheap. Yeah.
Okay. I agree.
Cool.
All right.
Maybe make the
Suns.
biology professor. You can only have one of them do that ability a turn as well. Could be
That would
worth
be
considering.
Not get Omega grenaded.
Yeah.
Cool. 1,000 Suns. Points drops.
Undo some of the points hits that they got, and they're probably in a pretty happy spot.
Points drops are insane. Magnus could probably go up again. Fuck it. That guy's too good. He's in every single list, and the army doesn't operate without him. That probably means he needs to go up while everything else comes down. I'm sorry.
Cool.
T-Suns players. Build a list without him for once.
Sweet. Points adjustments to T-Suns. Moving on.
Yeah, the rules are great.
The rules are great. They're just awkward to
They
build
got
right
tapped
now.
a bit hard. Adjust again. Cool. Okay, easy.
Cool. World leaders.
I think they're in, I don't know. They're doing well, but I know that there's some like kind of feels bad stuff with how their mechanic works.
Yeah.
You've been playing them a lot recently, Alex. Once per game?
Yeah. I've been playing them a whole
good.
bunch. I've been playing as them, so I struggle a little to know how to adjust them. Right, at sort of acknowledging bias. What were we gonna say?
Lord Invocatus can join Exalted and normal 8-bound, right? There's that whole goofy thing though where if he's
fix his thing
in
where
the
like
Exalted,
some people are
he doesn't
saying,
actually let them scout.
Yeah, because he is in the unit, therefore they have the Scout's ability, so therefore he can't give them the Scout's ability. But not everybody has the Scout's ability, therefore they can't get given it. So fix that.
Either let him do it or let him not.
Give Exalted 8-bound the 8-bound keyword, so people stop trying to put them in rhinos.
Clearly not intended. But you think Angron's respawn should be once per game?
I have heard someone else say it. It seems sensible because, like, it's you could just get like. I played against them with like Chaos Knights, right, which is normally a bad matchup. I was going okay, but it's just like it came back immediately both times, and it's like,
How much is he right now?
415? No, 4.
He's like 430 or something. 425.
Do you think he could go down if that happened, or do you think keep his points exactly the same and just make it once per game?
He's probably fine as is, honestly.
No.
It just removes some of the dumb shit when he comes back multiple times. Like Alex was saying, it's just it feels bad when he comes back immediately and there's like 3 repeats of Angron just like fucking you.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole Necron revival thing where it's unreliable, and whether it falls to one side of the coin or the other, it feels bad for both players.
Yeah.
So
I think overall, world leaders are probably fine, but there's just like a couple of silly.
Yeah, I know their mechanic isn't the most fun. Oh, here's same thing with the Ork thing. You have to roll their mechanic at the start of the battle round, right?
Make it in their command phase.
Gosh, there was something about the Feel No Pain, because like the Feel No Pain one's the only one you really want active, or the Fight on Death as well.
It'd be nice if the what's it called, the CP thing that you spend for like you've killed something in the fight phase and you get a blood surge, but if you go second and you get it in your turn, like if you get it, you could get it in your fight phase only, which is a really weird interaction.
So that way you
because then immediately it goes to the next battle round and stops working.
Okay, I see.
Oh no.
What if you like rolled the buffs at the start of the battle round and then you could buy them at the start of any phase or something like that? Would that be too strong?
Oh my god, I've mucked up my camera. So you could No, I'm just thinking if you did it so that it's like you get the if you spend for the blood, you spend for a bonus thing that lasts until the next fight phase. Like not the next fight, like it lasts. It'd be weird to keep track because it's at different times, but it'll cycle around.
Yeah, you're talking about the kill in melee roll.
Kill and you get an extra blood Yahtzee. But I don't know if they need masses of help.
I'm more talking about like stuff that kind of smooths out the blood Yahtzee mechanic, because it is kind of like the Ork Wah, a bit of an awkward mechanic if you go second and now you're having to plan your turn at the start of your opponent's turn.
Yeah, I don't think it's nearly as bad as the Ork Wah because it's letting you know what you have for this turn, not making your once per game decision.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you find like there's a huge difference going first or second with that, or no?
Not really,
No?
no.
Alright.
Going that sometimes, yeah. So going second means you can have the feel no pain. Going first means
You
I
can
think it's
like
slightly
plus
better
the
going
move,
first
get
because you
in
can
there and
go
activate Feel No Pain.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's too big of a deal otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think overall then, like, World Leaders is just another one of those factions they did like a really good job with back in September. And since they are trending pretty well, like any buffs given to them, if like those nerfs we suggested to see a summon Eldar happen, it might make them a little too strong. So
yep.
I don't
think
know
World
how you
Leaders are in a
adjust
fine
it
spot overall.
if you want to like worsen things. Like maybe you look at something to do with the Berserker Glaive. Because that's just like it auto-populates in every list.
yeah.
If you're looking to like tone down some of the wonky interactions, like there's that. Yeah, I don't know.
I think they're in a fine spot overall.
Hmm.
How about, so we've got Chaos Knights and Chaos Demons. Let's save the best for last, and we'll do Chaos Demons first.
Give them the Death Guard treatment so that they have, because you cannot points fix them because then the demon allies get silly, right?
Sure. What is the Death Guard treatment? You give them another rule on their detachment?
Yeah, or like give them a different thing for each god or something.
What the hell
like,
is the Demon's detachment?
They have.
It's the take over the zones and make it.
I don't know which is the army or which is the detachment. It's like the Chaos Knights, how they blur together. I don't know which one is. Which one is
and
which?
Then do they have like a debuff to morale thing? I just remember the Shadow of Chaos.
I'm gonna go look it up. But yeah, so
the army rule is the Shadow of Chaos, where you get healing and deal enemy mortal wounds if they're in the shadow.
Oh, true. If you pass or fail checks.
And then the detachment rule is warp rifts that say that if you're within your Shadow of Chaos, you can arrive at 6. I forgot that was a thing. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's quite cool, though. Oh, I think their Shadow of Chaos could get the Canoptic Court thing, where it's like you need to control
half or more.
At least half. No, this looks the same.
It is the same. It's just, the issue is they really want to deep strike at 6, but it checks at the start of every phase, right? So like in your movement
so if you
phase,
move
you can't move out, get the shadow, and then deep strike at 6.
Maybe do like, but also you do an extra check in between the movement and reinforcement step of your movement phase. Like check OC, check objective control then. Just put a rider in there.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think you were saying points fixes. Like, I think you could point fix some things. Like, there's some things that are ridiculously high. Like, Fiends are so high for what they do.
I think the infantry can come down 20%. The medium dudes like Fiends and Blood Crushers and stuff can come down 15%, and big guys can come down 10%. I think that book is way too overcosted. Have you looked at Demon's list? There's like 4 big guys in it and like 3 squads of Nurglings, and that's it. Like,
I think you don't touch. You don't touch Nurglings. You don't touch any of the lone op characters. In fact, you probably bring them up.
Yeah.
And then,
but like their infantry is so bad. Like imagine running Bloodletters or Plague Bearers or Demonettes. Like all of those units are dog shit. They can easily come down 3 or 4 points a model and still be mediocre at best. Like let units of dudes be good.
Yeah, I don't think Chaos Knights are going to be taking like 10 Demonettes at like 120 points a squad.
No, neither are. And you might actually consider it for something like if Skull Taker and Bloodletters came down, maybe you consider that in World Leaders. I mean, probably not, but like that unit does slam.
Yeah.
Just giving people options instead of this is immediately like, why am I buying a 15-point Bloodletter? Like, I don't know if it's actually 15, but it's way too expensive for a T3 1 wound idiot.
Are they T4 now? I think they were at one point.
Either way, I mean, they could be 2 wounds and they'd still be bad.
But I think they need, I think they want a like something like a rules help more so than points, because if you do the points wrong, then they just again end up as like allies but not other things.
True.
Oh, this is because I was thinking about Nurglings, right? Because you probably want to give them a points increase a bit. But can swarms get the ability to go through walls again, please? Because that's like probably the most misplayed rule as well at the moment, where everyone will just move them through walls because, like, yeah.
Scarabs got slower and lost the ability to move through walls.
Yeah.
Sad.
Did they get slower? They were always 10, weren't they? Are they still 10?
I think they're slower now. I can check my codex.
Yeah.
I kind of like that change, but I can see why it's irritating. So I wouldn't mind if it got fixed.
Yeah. Yep. Is that about it for demons? Be'lakor's, like, as the crutch of, like, can't get shot thing is weird as well. I don't know if that's a good interaction. I don't know how you fix it easily, but yeah.
It's cool that he's like a drop pod for other demons. Like, that's pretty sick. Like, he slams down and then
I meant the lone op thing, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree that that's good, but I also think Be'lakor is cool in that he is a drop pod. Like, he has multiple reuses, right?
Yeah.
I like your suggestion of checking for control of Shadow Chaos, like, at the start of your reinforcement step. Because right now, like, the only way you really use that Shadow early game is, like, by bringing Be'lakor. You know, the fact that you have to move your not very tanky army out into the midfield, hold more than half of it through your opponent's turn, and then you have the ability to deep strike 6 away. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Dude, it means you can rapid ingress good though.
True.
True. You could, because if they take it back from you, yep. They won't have
rapid ingress at 6. Get charged easier. Let's go.
Exactly, dude.
All right, it's time for the best faction of the game, the Chalice Knights.
Yeah, dude.
All right, terrible internal balance.
Oh my gosh.
There are 2.5 good data sheets. It's pretty sad.
The 0.5 the Rampager?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, is there anything else that's even like?
I think the Rampage is probably more than 0.5, and I don't know if the Desecrate is horrible because it can make brigands good. Okay, Lucas thinks it's horrible.
You're taking a 400 point model to give your brigands 301s to hit. That's bad. Go on.
Okay, fine, sure. Yeah.
You know what? I think your tip about Imperial Knights is like make the units that were abusing towering cheaper. Now that towering is not stupid, I think that's a good change.
Dude, how cool would it be to take Abominants, like, to then actually be able to point at things like, take a battle shock check, and now, like, haha, you're worse, so I can, like, do. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be very cool. So yeah, being able to bring the Abominant, the Desecrator, and the Despoiler all down, lots of points. Like, they don't do anything. They're terrible. They get nothing from being a Chaos Knight, basically.
What's the ability on the Helverin datasheet? They get anti-fly if they're, like, on an objective or in their DZ, whereas the Executioner is just rubbish. So, like, what if the Executioner just always hits on 2s and gets bonus AP against something low? That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like one of the big complaints about CK right now is why are they the hit on 2s army? Like, I wouldn't complain about getting hitting on 2 Helverin, but I think I think the ability just needs to be better. There's a lot of cool abilities right now that are like, if you're below starting, get X. If you're below half, get X. Why is the Executioner's like a mediocre ability if they're below half strength? That's terrible. Give it +1 to hit if they're below starting, +1 to wound as well if they're below half. Like, make the datasheet ability worth something. Or just make it cheaper. Like, they apparently really hated that people took 14 dogs to WTC, but, like, all 14 of those dogs were terrible for a reason. Like, they were just hulls at the end of the day. So, yeah, you can send the Carnivore up 10 points. You can send the Brigand up 10 or 15 points. But, like, Executioner should be at most 140 points, not 150. Like, he's terrible. Stalker and the Huntsman as well. Huntsman less so. Huntsman's all right. But
yeah.
A lot of those, the other 3 dogs, the ones that hit on 3s are just kind of bad. And then the Shooting Knights are just...
It would be nice if they clarify the Brigand AP plus indirect gun interaction. Because I don't think that's been officially clarified.
Agreed.
Havoc launchers maybe need something. The fact that it's just like, haha, I take all these, so, like, you know, I've got these stuff, but also a chaff unit a turn disappears is wonky. But I think that's maybe more an indirect game-wide problem than a Chaos Knights problem, I feel.
I think changing the cost of the Baby Knights will help that. Because if you send the Brigand and the Carnivore up 10 each, then all of a sudden you can take 1 less Knight That's a little bit of a help. But then also maybe you want to take some of the other knights that don't get mortars. So that kind of helps. Now maybe you only have 8 or 9 mortar hats.
Yeah.
Which is the point where you don't actually kill 10 cultists.
And I find it a bit difficult to be objective on this because, like, I really like the faction. I don't know how to. It's
I
painful
love
to
playing brigands and carnivores. It's so much fun.
Like, another thing as well is I don't know if it's if you make it so that you can't, like, the Knights of Shade in movement and charge phase. I don't know if being able to do both is that bad, but maybe you can't Knights of Shade the same model in both phases.
That'd be cool. I like that change.
Make them.
I mean, I don't like it, but like it might be reasonable.
No.
Or...
no.
That's a very silly current interaction.
It is a bit silly.
No, in the charge phase. It's in the charge phase.
Yeah, just to clarify for people as well, so Knights of Shade says in the charge phase, decide that you will decide you pick 2 things that can run through walls. So, like, you can go, okay, well, I've got this carnivore here. I'm going to try and make the sketchy charge because I get to roll it twice, and if I hit one of them, then I'll slam the CP button and go through the wall, and if not, I'll keep my CP. Which,
pretty silly.
Some people can be upset by. I don't think it's the most abusive interaction in the game.
No, certainly not. But it can definitely be a feels bad here and there.
Yeah. Also, I think Chaos Knight's probably, if the cheap demon chaff gets an adjustment, that'll hurt them a fair bit as well. So maybe they don't need too much done on brigands and carnivores. Right? Like, if they got bumped, say 5 rather than 10 points a hull, but also then you have what's it called? You also have the demons be a bit more expensive. Some of the, like, abused ones, like Nurglings. I don't know on Changeling and Scribes how much they want to go and other things like that, but yeah, that sort of thing.
I think Changeling's fine. Scribes could definitely go up.
Sure, yeah.
There's a whole bunch of
65 right now?
Yeah, he's way
too
good
at
at 65 points. He's dumb as fuck.
How much Changeling? 85, 90?
90.
Yeah. Scribes could probably be like 80, 85.
Yeah. Anything else in Chaos Knights?
No. It's a fun faction that probably needs some more diversity and a couple things to be bopped a little bit.
Same repeat as the Knights. Decrease the towering points changes on the big Knights.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's silly that, like, the Desecrator.
Or clarify if you can, now that they've got plastic kits as well, probably let the long leash work on Cerastus Knight buffs.
Yeah. Lucas was real hyped about a Lancer until he found out that it didn't work.
Yeah.
It's not abhorrent or whatever.
Yeah. Probably that.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, gents. Well, it has been I thought this was going to be an hour and a half at most, and we have been here for 2.5 hours, so we're going to wrap up real quick. But
there was a lot of factions in 40K.
There was a lot of factions, and turns out we have a couple of things to say about Warhammer.
Just to, like, quickly, are there any, like, general things that we want to happen in the slate? Because we slightly touched on some of them, right? Like maybe heroic, Dev-Woo. No, I don't know. Is there anything like that? Like
30 man Orc boy squads.
For me, my biggest thing is mission pack. I think that's what's most stale at the point in this game. Like, Lucas told me this week, like, think through all the factions in the game and what changes you want. And honestly, it was kind of a struggle for me to think. Like, a lot of these factions, we were like World Leaders seem pretty good. Votann seemed like they're in a great spot. You know, very minor things, right? This isn't like a huge change we're asking for. A lot of these, like, pre-made missions that GW is suggesting, all I keep hearing is people groaning about how boring or bad this mission is. And a lot of it is because it's a good mission on the bad deployment type, right? Like, Sites of Power should not be played on Hammer and Anvil. Supply Drop probably shouldn't be played on Search and Destroy, you know? So I think that'd be cool to change. I'm surprised they didn't change it. Like, this is something I was thinking about before the show. I think it'd be really cool if GW really wants to make, like, their world championships of Warhammer, like the season end, right? Publish a new, like, mission pack when that ends and be like, this is our 2024 to 2025 competitive mission pack. You play that all the way until that year's World Championships. It ends and you do it again, right? Like, this is LVO Weekend currently going on, and LVO was kind of current, like, previously the World Championships of Warhammer, like, kind of, like, unofficially, you know? So, not so much anymore. We'll probably see a new mission pack sometime soon. I don't know. Maybe not till, like, they start doing their tournament, like, rotation in the spring, with, like, Tacoma and everything. But, yeah, I don't think we're going to see it this time, but, like, please, for the love of God, change up some of these recommended mission deployments.
And probably, like, some of the secondaries have a little bit of a look, like you give up a kill, I take that in homers.
Bring it down needs to be changed for some of the factions.
There's a couple of weird tactical things, like you probably shouldn't be able to draw
capture enemy outpost, overwhelming force behind.
No, I don't mind overwhelming force, honestly. It's kind of, if we removed everything from turn 1 that you couldn't do on turn 1 would be very boring.
Unless, what if you make it like there's these ones, if you draw these turn 1, you can choose to keep them or not? Because, like, sometimes you're like, oh, I've gone second and I've drawn Storm Hostile Objective and this is really good, but I can't.
Yep. Or frankly, like, let people defend their stronghold on turn 1. It's like 3 points, whatever. If we're letting people get 5 points for extend battle lines on turn 1, why are we not allowing them to get 3 points to defend stronghold?
Forcing me to capture my opponent's outpost turn 1. Let me defend my stronghold turn 1, you know?
Yeah. So that's dumb.
Yeah.
I think, too, also the bring it down card could be changed. The fact that you can draw it and it's a dud because your opponent has no vehicles in their army. Just make it automatically score 5 points if they have no vehicles on the board. Just make it like
or a redraw. Make it a redraw.
Yeah. If they had vehicles and they're all gone, make it count.
Yes.
But if they never had vehicles, then cycle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. Has tempting target been clarified as well? If you hold on to it, is it like stay the same thing across different turns? That's how I always play it.
I think
that's how I've always played it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because tempting target says, like, at the end of your command phase, your opponent chooses a target to tempt you with. And then
it'd be cool as well if some of the things could be completed at either player's turn. Like, I've got capture enemy outposts as an option, but like I can't do it this turn. And they move, and then you get to like rapid ingress on there or something, and you can score it in their turn, then draw on yours. That would be cool if it's like, because some of them check either player turn, some of them it's the end of your turn.
Yeah, like I know the kill ones
like
check
no
every turn, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then also, if you're like, I've not quite, like, if your plan for area denial was like clobber this one dude, or like Storm Hostile was to like get this one dude, and they like just live because it's like you've got a character and they've got like a unit with OC2 because it's a battle line, and there's one dude left, and you're like, well, your options are run off my objective and leave it for me, or stay in combat and I beat you up, right? That could be cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, I think that does it, boys. Good episode. Thanks for coming on, Alex. Appreciate you very much. Let's go ahead and wrap up real quick.
Good laugh.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Despite the time difference, all 3 hours of it. Yeah. All right. This has been BIFPOD TNG. I'm not good at doing the plugs. Fuck that shit. I'm not going to say anything. We just talked about what we wanted from the data slate. If you enjoyed this, feel free to check out the Discord. And I don't know, brain is melted. I don't remember anything else. Thanks for tuning into the show. You can find us on YouTube and wherever else you find podcasts. And that'll be it for today. I've been Lucas.
Ball and a biscuit.
Nick. Oh.
Isn't that the title line I meant to say? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, ball and a biscuit. Yeah, you remember. Nice.
I was hoping to get a reaction from you, Lucas. You're like, brain gone.
I don't know, dude. I'm going
It's not
bed.
the WA turn. He's out of it. He's only on 4.
It's turn 5, and I have 10 Gretchen left in my brain.
We talked about the Imperium for too long, and he's done, dude.
It was an hour and a half of Imperium, boys. Jesus Christ.
That was a lot.
All right.
Look,
goodbye, gamers.
GW intended.
Praise Gork and Mork.